looking into. Like there's a greater story of Carrie Mullis than like any of us fucking know.
Yeah.
For sure. Guaranteed.
Let's get into it. All right.
So Happy birthday to Truthzilla.
It is a happy unbirthday.
Kind of a birthday.
It's our happy unbirthday. It's our 6th month.
It's our
6th-month episode.
Yeah, 6-month episode.
And it's our happy Thanksgiving episode also. Our share with your family and friends episode.
We're giving thanks, man. Fucking A.
Yep, share with your family and friends. That's what this is all about. So you guys, so we launched, I think the first episode was June 7th, somewhere in there, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there, right? Yes. So, but this is like our 26th week.
It was a 4-day episode.
Yeah, this is like our 26th week.
Yeah,
so it's like, I think it's like episode 27, but like, it's like, you know, it's still in that same range. So we've done like 6 months worth of episodes, dude, and it's just like, holy crap, what a journey it's been.
Yep.
Dude, you guys, all of you listening out there, and if you're watching on YouTube or BitChute now, if you're watching on BitChute,
go to BitChute.
You can see we kind of, Megan went a little crazy with the decorations in a good way, not crazy.
No,
I didn't mean crazy.
Like,
I didn't mean crazy.
I kept it like
she toned it down.
I did. I kept it toned down.
Look at this.
It's
got our pictures on the wrapping paper. Are you kidding me?
Wrapping paper with our logo and our photos.
It's the coolest wrapping paper.
And me and Scott are just a couple dogs over here didn't do.
No, stop it. No.
And we got the green tablecloths. We got the balloons. We got the cake.
Okay,
that she waited in line.
There's chocolate. I did
she
it.
waited in the communist bread line.
We have
to
address the elephant in the room though here that last week we did an episode with Tim James, the health hero.
Yes, we did.
And,
oh shit!
And we have this big old cake right in front of us. So oh my god, I'm a little bit ashamed right now. So I'm calling it out. But I will say though, just on a side note, we had looked into getting our colon hydrotherapy sessions, and we were about to get them scheduled on Friday.
This Friday we were going to go.
And some things happened. So we are starting that journey. Mark our words. We will do it, and we will tell you all about it. That is going to happen.
Yep. Last weekend, I did meal prep, and I cooked a whole I have this big camping pot that I cooked full of veggies with curry. So I made like curry veggies, So I don't know. That's what I've been eating all week. Good. So there you go.
Okay. Well, I think you deserve some cake.
I deserve some cake. But I'm saying, we're serious about this.
Yeah, we are serious, and we are going to celebrate. But we're also going to, our celebratory cakes in the future might be greener.
Yes, or something.
Okay, so their celebratory cakes in the future are going to be greener, and I'm going to eat green all the rest of the year except on celebratory days. In which cake I'm going to eat the chocolate ganache cake.
Okay, we're going to eat some. Come on. What?
I'm already admitting I'm going to eat poisonous stuff a little bit.
I know.
Well, I know my truth.
Well, if you don't eat it, you're breathing it or you're drinking it. So, come on.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But we do. I am serious. We do need to make some changes.
But that said, about Tim James, though, I had a couple of people reach out to me privately asking what was that code. So to remind everyone, if you're going to order products from Tim James, a health hero, use the code TRUTH and get, is it 5% off
discount?
On top of whatever he's already offering.
They're already offering a lot of deals.
Yeah,
right
totally.
Now too.
So
check them out. Support those of us that are in the community. Like doing what we, the idea, like we all need to just break out of the matrix, like get our own self-sustaining thing going. And so
yeah, totally. And that's what we were talking earlier. Like when we were going to do the colon hydrotherapy, I'm reaching out to the, I forget what it's called, but it's the place in Portland that Tim James had Rebecca Harder on his show like an episode or two before ours.
That's the same place?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I just, I'm trying to keep it in the circle. I think we really need to look at supporting each other and doing what we can because we are going to have to soon because the system ain't going to support us.
It's true. It's true.
It's getting scarier and scarier every day, man. Just get into altercations every day over masks at stores, dude, all day, every day. That's just my new life, the new reality. That's the new normal is getting into freaking confrontations with freaking idiots at the store.
I think my daughter's trying to get me to get into confrontations. This is my same little girl that put on the mask when she wasn't need to put on the mask when she had to write the 1,000 sentences because she was sneaking to wear a mask outside at the park. Yeah. So now we go and now I took her with me to do Thanksgiving shopping. I waited till today, everyone. This afternoon I was standing.
And then she sent me a list of the things she forgot later this afternoon.
Come on, you're not supposed to tell him that.
I was in there
right under the bus.
God. Wait, and it hit me hard.
What the hell is Mullen Spice? Please. Oh my God.
He messages me. He's like, like, are you sure margarine comes in cubes?
I'm like, oh my God, please get me out of here.
Oh my gosh. So then I sent another message like, okay, mulling spices are a no in Springfield. Can you check? So,
yeah.
But
Anyway,
anyways,
it was
okay.
funny. It was good.
I can't wait. You guys have to open those.
Okay.
Can we open them? Can you?
Ed, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right.
Wait,
You gotta open them at the same time.
Yeah, same time.
It
same
has
time.
to be the same time.
Okay.
I feel
guys.
bad ripping this paper. It's like ripping our souls.
Well, let's.
You can
I'm gonna
ease
save
it.
I'm gonna save
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Like down the road, it'll line a drawer.
Yes, dude. This is.
I'm going to tear the tape off very carefully.
Very gently.
We'll sell it on our Patreon. No, we don't have a Patreon.
Oh God.
Don't whatever you do, don't look at Patreon, and whatever you do, don't go and support Truthzilla on Patreon. Whatever you do.
Right. Whatever you do. I did tape it. I taped it to the box. I'm one of those nightmare rappers.
Oh no.
I know. All right. Oh, so what I was going to say about Maggie while you guys are opening
Oh yeah.
is now, though, she's walking through this grocery store and she's pulling her mask down under her chin. And I'm like, why? This is the third time she's done that. When I took her to the store, I think, why are you wearing that mask under your chin, but you want to wear it outside? I swear I'm like, I'm going to get in a fight if anybody says anything. So you just pull it up until we get out the door. But anyways.
Awesome, man, Megan.
Yeah, save that.
Okay, that was the coolest thing.
Save these.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Oh my gosh, what in the world?
So,
But you got to pull the whole thing out because there's something inside.
oh my God.
Megan, what have you done?
Oh my God, dude. This is the coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh
So
my
those
God.
of you on the
Look
podcast,
at this.
we have Truthzilla podcast mugs.
Truthzilla
Wait,
podcast.
see
Is this
what's
what is this, a mask?
Oh.
Is this a
Oh
mask?
no.
Is this
What
is
the
this
heck?
is this underwear?
Sock.
That was that.
Oh, what?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
you
Oh
guys.
my
Okay,
God.
okay, hold on. Stop the train. Stop the universe. The universe just needs to stop right now.
Oh my
What
God.
do you have there? What do you have there, Ed?
I have Melissa Floyd socks.
Oh my God,
Yes.
who's
Melissa Floyd, you have to come on our show now
Melissa
because
Floyd.
I have socks of your face on them. She's from the Vaccine Conversation podcast and also What They're Not Telling You, which are two of my favorites. And some of my biggest red pill moments are from this woman right here. So please come on so I can show you my socks.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
and
Megan.
You're well. Okay, so that said, the purple was. I think I inadvertently bumped purple because I didn't mean to order
this is great.
purple.
Purple's awesome.
Purple's. I was like,
I
he's
love it.
Shirts that match.
I got purple Sam Tripoli
Sam
socks.
Tripoli
Nice.
Oh my
socks.
God, for the love of God. Where
Okay,
in the world?
wait now.
I
So
love
now,
it.
wait. Look
Sam
at the back of
Tripoli
your
socks.
cups. Look at the back of your cups.
my
Okay, you
God.
got to line them up and see what they say
It
because
says-
they go together, right?
it does.
Because I got one too.
Oh, you
okay.
got
Oh
one
my
too.
God,
Okay,
look
so
at this.
We got Truthzilla Trio. Yours says Truth. Yours says Zilla. Mine says Trio.
Oh, the Truthzilla trio.
So Scott, Ed, and
I
Megan.
love it
the
so
Truthzilla
much.
Trio.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna
And now-
cry.
Guys.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry. I'm gonna
Oh my God.
This is amazing. This is the most
Yay.
amazing thing I've ever seen or
Yes,
heard
this
of in
is-
my
this
life.
is
Yay.
I got
Okay.
Sam Tripoli socks.
I can
Oh my
drive
God.
happy
yes.
now.
Tinfoil
Well,
hat,
they
baby.
said there was a disclaimer when I placed the order for specialty socks. Like, you can't order with celebrities. And I'm like, well, are they celebrities or are they public figures?
Yeah,
I
they're
think
public figures.
I think they're public figures. So I'm gonna go ahead and just eke it underneath. So
dude, that's so amazing.
anyway, so there we are. Happy on
So
birthday,
now-
Truthzilla.
Sam will be happy to know that he's not.
So now
considered
both
a
of these
celebrity.
people have to come onto the show. They have to.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was just
that's so
justifying
funny.
it in my own mind so I could hit purchase. But
That's
anyway.
great,
Yay.
Megan.
Megan, you will. Thank you so much.
You're the best in the universe. You guys, so you need to start a podcast too. All of you
Yeah,
that are
no
sitting
doubt.
out
Come
there,
on.
all of you that are sitting out there on the fence, like go find a buddy and start a podcast. Like,
Go
what
find
are
a
you
buddy
doing?
and start a podcast.
What are you doing? Like, yes,
Yep.
please. We need you. And yes, I know all the whatever, like arguments against it. Like, there's a million podcasts. Who needs another podcast? Well, we need your podcast. That's what we're waiting for. You know, we could have like not done it too. We could have talked ourselves out of it. And now look at this, dude. Look at this. This is the coolest thing in the known universe. So
Yay.
I'm so glad that you guys are all along for this ride too.
Yeah,
Hell
thank
yeah,
you for
hell yeah.
joining us.
We
We're
have so
super,
much
super
fun.
excited about it all. Really excited about tonight. Excited
Yeah.
about what we're going to cover,
I
talk
hope
about.
you all enjoy watching us eat.
Yeah,
Oh.
bust out some cake.
Chocolate ganache.
So-
yeah.
Yeah, cut it up.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
all
I mean,
right.
These guys listening, they're like, "Come on, get to it."
Cut him
Enough
the
celebrating.
cake.
But no, you guys, it's I don't know. This is so cool. So, Well, we've got that one video. We can watch that video.
Do it.
Should we watch the
That
video
while
the
we're doing cake? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
The
All right.
cake. We'll call it the cake video.
The cake video, guys. So, all right. So, check this out. Megan, have you seen this one yet?
No,
already?
is this one you sent to group earlier?
Yeah,
but
and I
you
said-
said not
I
to
said,
watch.
don't watch it, we'll watch
and
it
so
on
I
the show.
totally honored that.
I had already seen the start of it, so
Okay.
I'm
This is
guilty
gonna act
there.
surprised?
No, but I didn't watch it all, and but I know where it's going.
Yeah, we want to inspire the folks out there. This is the solution, folks. This is the solution. Be brave. Oh, give it a little setup here. So, basically, this is a bunch of business owners that gathered at a gym in Buffalo, New York.
Okay, was this today?
It was fairly recently.
Okay.
I think it was a couple days ago.
Last week or so.
Okay.
And in defiance of the very strict, as we know, very strict New York order. So now, if you're anywhere else in the country, you know that New York is the strictest of them all, probably more so than us, but we're probably getting pretty damn close here in Oregon.
Pretty damn close.
But at the same time, if this is what they're doing in New York, then take note, take heed. Here we go.
All right.
You're on private property. You need to leave.
We're asking to appeal to your compassionate side. I know you're taxpayers. Our tax dollars are into your guys' paychecks. But some of these people actually work for their money, and they don't want to lose their livelihood. I've lost friends, I've lost family who've killed themselves. I've seen clients die because they've lost their livelihood.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know you are, and I'm asking for you to guys have some compassion for the people that have lost everything.
We do have compassion for people who.
Okay, well, you need to go have compassion out in the parking lot.
Is this the
private property.
sheriff's trying to
This is
uphold
private
illegal
property.
orders?
This is private property.
That's
It's
right. Get the
private
fuck
property.
out.
Go
I
get a
didn't
warrant.
argue that.
Listen, man, this is private property. They're not wanted here. So do your
Where's your
job.
warrant?
Well, her job is.
Well, no, your job is to remove people that are not wanted here.
You have a
We're wanted.
That's
There you
right.
go.
We're not.
You have a
hiding her
health
name
department
tag. She had
I'm
her
not. It's right there.
Remove those health agents.
They're just doing their job.
There we go.
You should all be wearing masks. How
I'm
come
not
none of
doing
you have
anything.
masks?
Fuck you.
Don't
You
worry
should all
about
be
my
wearing
house.
masks.
My house isn't your
You're
concern.
meant to be wearing a mask. It's
That's
the
it.
Okay, well then write me up.
It's the law.
Okay, then
No,
take
it's
me
not.
to jail.
It's not the law.
Then take me to jail.
That's right.
Show me the law.
Well, I think we gotta go, Jen.
You have to leave. You guys have to leave.
You guys need to
Yeah.
Now you're trespassing without a warrant. You need
That's
to
civil disobedience.
leave. You're trespassing.
We're not
Were you
trespassing.
You're
invited onto the
trespassing.
property?
Doesn't matter.
Then
We
you're
have a right to be
trespassing.
Then
here.
get a warrant. Go get a warrant.
That's right.
Yes, you do.
Come back with the warrant or
You
leave.
don't write the law. The laws are written.
Go get a warrant. You guys are breaking the law right now. You're breaking the law.
Yeah, you
Go
are.
outside. No, go on your phone outside.
Pieces of shit,
Go on your
dude.
phone outside.
I would really like it if you
Where
would
did
stop
you hear the
shouting at me.
report
I haven't
from?
done anything.
Don't care what you like. Out. Out, bitch.
Where?
Sorry.
Who reported it?
Seriously.
Who reported it?
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah,
If
it's
an
anonymous, right?
Yes,
It's
it
anonymous.
is,
That
but it's
can't
a
be
legitimate
anonymous.
complaint.
You need to know your accuser. You need
It's
to
not how
know
that
it cannot
works.
be
Hey, you
anonymous.
gotta go get a warrant.
It
It's not
cannot
how
be
health
anonymous.
department
It cannot be.
Yeah, it does.
You don't get the
You gotta
right
go get a
to
warrant.
The health
You don't
department.
get to violate
She looks healthy.
Constitution. It does not
The
matter.
same
You
as
don't
that.
circumvent or subvert
She can't even
the
take care of herself. Why is she trying to tell other people what to do?
None of them.
Call the news.
Okay, miss, you need to leave.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Heck yes. Out. Off you fuck, tyrants.
You fuck tyrants. That's the name of the episode.
I wondered. I was like, I don't want to do the cover art until I know what we're gonna.
Get out! Get out!
Looking them up. Hey, I don't know.
They're shook.
It's called a warrant, assholes. Surely you
See, I'm
know.
looking at the fat cop here, and I'm thinking like he's kind of realizing that they're right. I feel like he's like they're right. I don't know. He's not doing much, but I feel like he's kind of like, well, they're kind of right. They're kind of right.
Yes. That's gonna be Thanksgiving at my house tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have a warrant?
I'm straight up. You have a warrant?
This is a Black Lives Matter protest. Comply! We will not comply!
Yes.
Yeah.
Comply!
Fuck yeah.
Protest! This is a protest, guys. We do not have to disband. It is a protest. Yeah. This is a lawful protest. We will not
You want more?
comply.
Heck yeah, man.
We will not comply.
Dude, heck
We
yes.
will not comply. We will not comply.
Walk them
These guys are the coolest guys ever.
Yeah, dude.
Can we reach out to these folks and get them on here?
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sorry, I gotta rinse my.
The whole world
good.
needs a dose of that.
So there you go. And then then they chase him out into the street, and then they start yelling at him, get that fascist bullshit out of here or something like that.
Yeah,
so
man.
anyway,
I love it.
There you
I
go.
love it. There are people defending their right to resist.
That's what it takes. Did it just take a ton of them?
No.
No.
But they were right.
They might like the. I don't know.
Oh, they're gonna come back, dude. Cuomo,
Yeah,
you
totally.
think Meatball's gonna put up with that? As Tim Dillon affectionately calls him, Meatball. Right?
Meatball.
Sorry.
I love that.
They need to
that's Tim-
arrest him for treason. They need to lock him
Yeah.
up
You think
in
he's gonna let him get
solitary
away with that?
confinement and try
If
him for
anybody's
treason.
offended by meatball around here, Scott, come on.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah,
Don't be. You
Why?
don't have to
Wait a minute,
apologize.
Wait,
Oh, I see
why?
what
What's
you're
the
saying.
what's the
Oh,
what's the
that's
reference?
what Tim Dillon calls Cuomo. He calls him.
I know. I'm just
Oh.
saying, like that. Anyone who's listening to this should not be offended by that.
Okay.
I mean, yes,
You want to wait or yeah? Okay, yeah.
Bad thing, dude.
I don't know. You guys
We need
want to split it? I can't. You know, I
that
can't
is
do
like
it.
that is like the white chocolate. Amazing.
Yay! Good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
That is so good. That is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, Megan, you really outdid yourself.
Yay!
Megan, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Who would have thought that all you guys just wanted to watch us eat? But
And yeah, it's like you know, it's the star of the show doing all the celebrating for us. Like what the
No,
hell,
come
dude?
on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
seriously, it all started because of the socks. I knew I wanted to get. You know, Brogan has a pair of socks. My brother Brogan has a pair of socks that have like a special face someone ordered. And so I was like, how could I knew I wanted to get you Melissa Floyd, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like Alex Jones. I was like, it has to be Tripoli. It has to be Tripoli.
That's so good. Yeah,
So,
Tripoli
but
with
anyways,
Tripoli,
and then
dude.
once I discovered the paper, the wrapping paper, and I could put our photos on there, I was like, oh, now it's on. Everything just like had to center around that. So.
Dude,
It's
yeah.
a girl thing. I think it's a girl thing.
Dude, literally, Sam Tripoli was like the progenitor of this podcast.
Yep.
Between him and Ricky Varandas.
Yeah,
Ricky Veranda.
Between those two guys, like we wouldn't be right
and
there.
I remember specifically listening to Sam and just him saying he just try something different, try something for a year and see how your life changes. I remember him saying that over and over, just like, and here we are, man.
Yeah, dude.
Here we are.
In another 6 months. Holy crap.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. We're coming for the lizard people, dude. Hard.
Heck yes.
You know? Yeah. All right. Perfect. So, tonight we are kind of coming up with an idea. You know, hopefully we'll drop this is recording this Wednesday. Hopefully it'll be out by Thanksgiving.
This is the holiday
Tonight at midnight.
episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get it out.
Holiday
Or like by
episode.
2 in the morning.
As soon as we're done with
Okay.
this, I'm gonna start editing for sure. You know, but anyway, kind of the idea is, folks, is like we're all gonna be going out into the world to our families. Hopefully, you're not using this as an excuse to divert from your normal holiday plans too much. You know what I mean? You're gonna be gathering.
not
with
stay
folks.
home.
Yeah. But you know,
Or not have people over. Do
a
not
lot of-
follow those orders.
yeah,
No.
and a lot of people that maybe you might be in a tense conversation with aren't the type of people that are going to invite you over to their Thanksgiving anyway. So who knows?
Fair enough.
So you might just be hanging out with people, other like-minded people, but at the same time,
You might also be hanging
might-
around with people who are like sniffing the blood in the water.
Yes,
And they're
sniffing the blood
like
in the water,
not,
yeah.
like I know who I immediately think of as Deborah.
Deborah
from
yes.
Deborah Gets Red Pilled.
Yes.
I think that there's a lot of people who have family members that are kind of like being sold the lie and have been bought into the media, and they see something different, and now they're quietly open to not confrontational dialogue. And who does want that? I mean, none of
Yeah.
us are cool with
No,
that,
no,
right?
no.
We want to be able to like have ideas that we entertain that other people can offer us, and see then how does that shape how we think and what we feel and what we know.
Yeah.
And so that's my hope with this, is that we're going to be able to offer you guys a talking point,
Yeah.
without even really you having to talk too much.
Yeah.
Just points of discussion that
Yeah.
are, anyways, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm convinced that, you can't just like tell somebody something and expect them to take it at your word, especially nowadays. Like, people are so ingrained in their thinking that there's nothing I can say to a person with a differing point of view that's going to convince them my way of thinking. Nor should that be my intention. I shouldn't be going up to people trying to change their minds or convince them. All we can do literally is just open up a door, plant a seed, like lead them to the water, and hopefully maybe put them to where they're looking for the information themselves. It's kind of like, we talked with Sean Dustin a few weeks ago about like recovery. We got into that pretty hardcore. Like, it's the same principle. Like, I'm not going to quit using drugs until I make the decision to. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to tell me or give me any piece of information that's going to make me stop using drugs. But when I want it for myself, then I have to go get it for myself. And it only works when I want it for myself and I do it for myself. You know what I mean?
So true. So true.
I don't know.
It's a whole forced rehabilitation thing in whatever form
Yeah.
it comes.
Yeah,
Nobody's going to take that. But
Yeah. So what we did is we have a pretty big list, like 30, 40 different like questions to ask people.
So
right?
good.
And so these are just things that maybe just ask these questions to get their thinking, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, one of the main big ones is just why is it that Walmart, Target, Home Depot, all these big businesses are allowed to stay open and small businesses are forced to close because they're not essential?
Well, I could tell you that if you'd like to know. But.
Yeah, and a quiet filled the room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can provide answers to these as we go along for sure. You know
The
what I mean?
thing
But
is, I look at like a question like this, and I mean, I've been saying this over and over to the people around me that are on the edge. I think they all kind of still know it's messed up, but they're still on their side, right? Like I say this around my family all the time. Like why the hell is this? Like my dad manages a restaurant. Like you had to get rid of half your staff again. You know, like it cannot sustain. Like, and how many businesses have already closed? The restaurant industry is screwed across the whole country right now, probably across the world.
Well, we know that that's
really.
the point, though. They have to
completely.
bankrupt and financially ruin the country so that we'll all rely on them and ask them to save us.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
that's
of course.
it.
Offer us our new homes in the camps.
Yes, I mean 100%. And
Take the
we know
government
that, and
relief and
I hope I think everyone knows though that this is messed up. Like,
I think a lot of people don't think
intuitively-
it's going to happen to
intuitively-
them. That's what I think is happening. I think people think it's not going to happen to them. Like, especially the vaxxers. They're like, oh, I'm just going to get COVID and, fuck these people who, the anti-vaxxers and, the conspiracy theorists. I don't think they understand that it's coming for them too, regardless.
Totally.
But do they see that that their friend's business just closed though
Yeah.
also, does that not bother them?
Yeah.
Does that not bother them? Or their friend committed suicide that
Yeah.
lost his job,
That's
know?
it.
I mean these kind of things are happening is at least as much as COVID deaths, right? Like
Or how many
But-
people are being labeled as COVID deaths?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's for
absolutely.
sure. That's for sure. I mean, good point. Just to bring it back to that COVID deaths, I was just listening to Charlie Robinson again.
Yep. I was listening to that on the way over here too.
just like I mean, we have to always go back to that. So we have this many deaths, but the CD said how many of them just had COVID? 6%. So you can have 250,000 deaths, and what is that? That's going to be 15,000, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
That are actually that would actually be listed as just having COVID.
Over the
so
last, like, almost
15,000 is. I'm not saying anybody should. I don't wish death upon anyone, but if we're talking about the media telling you 250,000, but only 15,000 is the real number.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because
Right.
the other ones all had like
Comorbidities, average of 2.6.
2.6, and that means
2
they
to
were
3
they were
other
they were
things that
dying
caused
of
that.
other things, right? Like
Yeah.
We were already dying, and the thing is too, like, but it all comes down to that. Without the lie and without all the skewed, take the big guy. Without the skewed numbers reporting, it literally, if the media did what the media is supposed to do, which is actually to report the truth and the facts, and actually to have engaged in independent journalism, and actually, not be bought and paid shills for the CIA
And the big pharma.
and big pharma, totally, there wouldn't be nothing. Life would be so full. And so full of freedom, and it's only through. I can't do it. Thank you. I can't even eat what I have. But it's only through perpetrating the lie and through shoving propaganda down everybody's throat. And then, as soon as you start
all
to
the
speak
media
the
really
truth,
is
censoring it down.
propaganda.
That's all it is. But if it wasn't for that, there would be no pandemic. There would be nobody.
certainly,
We wouldn't have to make documentaries about it. We wouldn't have to have people say. That's where the divide is.
we wouldn't have to have
Totally.
a marketing department to sell the pandemic.
exactly.
That's it.
I was listening to again for Charlie Robinson, macroaggressions. I was listening to his interview with Miriam, our friend Miriam Hanane.
Yes.
And she came up with the best term. She calls it a case-demic. That's really all we're in right now.
is.
We're in a case-demic.
Yeah.
It's not a pandemic. It's not all the numbers are so botched that it's only solely purely driven and all boils down to
She
cases.
does coin some of the best.
Yeah,
Cases based off of a faulty and a predictive
Upwards
test.
of 97% false positive tests. So
Well, the new articles I was reading like yesterday and maybe today too was that the whole false positive things. But even if you don't have COVID, it doesn't mean that you're not a danger to others.
Yep. If you're perfectly healthy,
What?
you're a danger to everybody.
Yeah.
That's
Biggest
such a
lie
big
on the
psyop.
face of the earth,
Such
the
a big
hugest
psyop.
psyop ever.
So speaking of improper testing, so
Yes.
as we move down the list here, the next question to ask is, who is Kary Mullis? Now, Kary, he has an unusual spelling of the first name, Kary, last name Mullis, Mullis. So that'd be an interesting one for them to duck go.
Yeah, do it.
Who is Kary Mullis?
Okay.
What are his views on PCR? Let's say the process. What are his views on the PCR process? right?
Yeah.
And when did he die?
And when did he die?
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this before we started recording here. Everyone who talks about that always refers that he died a couple of months before this thing went off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of like, is that part of the reason this is going off, or is there anything interesting about how he died? And I think it was, what was it? It was not flu, but.
Well, that's what they reported that he died of, too.
Sure. So, anyways, I would like to look into that more. I don't have the answer for that, but Carrie Mullis is certainly an interesting character that I think that we should all dive into more. I know, and I just want to point people in the right direction because I can never explain it very well. But they did an interview with Tom Cowan, Dr. Tom Cowan, on Melissa Floyd's podcast, What They're Not Telling You. It's a two-parter. It's amazing. It
is good.
It totally tears apart our whole idea of virus theory, I would say, like how viruses are transferred from one person to another, that basically this whole thing is based on something that's never been proven. And Carrie Mullis is one of the people that he talks about that questioned that and went up to the guy who supposedly proved this, and basically the guy had nothing to give him. Like he couldn't offer him any real proof to prove how he has proven that virus transmission is real. The virus transmission, and I'm not very good at explaining this. I really would encourage you to go listen to those episodes, just because to me it blew my mind. But it's a little bit. I've listened to it twice at this point. It's just a little bit hard for me to re-explain it. Yeah. But I think that there's really something to it. As far as the PCR thing, though, like he was straight up serious about, like, you cannot use this as a test. Yeah, like that was
like the presence of any sort of viral or to detect whether or not you are infected to a certain extent, or if you would be considered a case, like a positive case. And
I feel like every like podcast and everything I listen to these days has really broken this down really well. But the simple way to explain it is they do these cycles, and it's like a magnification, like it's like an amplification. So basically, if you have a microscope, you put something under there, if you don't amplify it at all, you'll never find this virus, right? But it goes up to 60 times. If you amplify it 60 times, or what do they call it?
Cycles.
60 cycles, you will always find it. So anyways, there's this scale. So they say about 30, anything 35 and over, you will find it on 97% of the time, and there'll be false positives.
Even Fauci himself.
Yeah, Fauci himself said, there's a video of it.
He said 35 is the maximum. If you even get to like 36 or 37, it's unreliable. Yeah, and do we know what the World Health Organization standards?
Plus, who gives a shit?
45,
it's the fucking
40,
cold. 45, it's a
40.
cold. No, but it's ridiculous. But I do want to ask about this. About these, he died so suddenly,
he
so
died
unexpectedly
a few months before the COVID outbreak.
So I don't believe that was an accident or a fluke. I don't believe that there's a coincidence, especially when you talk about the deep state and all the people. Who was it who was shot in the back of the head by his own self?
Oh, Gary Webb.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of shit. You know what I mean? And
Or
Chris
Terrence
Cornell
Eaton.
that had the shit beat out of him and blood all over the floor.
Well, what
and
I
they
just
said,
wonder though is it. Did they intentionally do something, or is it just once he died, they're like, oh, we can pull this off now?
100,000%. I 100,000% think
it could
they
be
killed
either
him.
way. Is kind of how I see it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think they killed him. There's no way,
Well, it
because
does
this
seem
they
like
were waiting. They didn't allow this one person. The deep state did not allow this one person to come between them and their agenda for the new world order.
They're
right?
sitting around there every day. It's like, when's this guy?
When's he gonna croak? No, they took him out.
We can roll out the new world
Absolutely,
order.
you better believe it.
But if this guy was alive today, he'd be like, hold on.
He's like literally spinning in his grave right now.
Yeah, he literally spinning in his grave right now. Poor guy. Rest in peace, Carrie
Rest
Mullis.
in peace,
We
Carrie.
will avenge
You're
your
a hero.
We will avenge your death.
We will.
We will look into you more, and we will uncover the real truth behind what's going on.
We will
here.
honor your legacy. All right. Or maybe he just went underground. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he faked his own death. That'd be cool. That'd be some. All right. Anyway.
Well, then he's in on it. No, I'm kidding.
No, we're not going to say that. Carrie Mullis is a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
All right, let's move on. So here's just a good little like teaser question. So I had added those questions to the beginning, but this is my first number one question to really get people thinking. So just ask your aunt,
Ask Auntie.
did you think the numbers have been overinflated? Do you think that they've been overinflated? I mean, maybe. Is there a chance that maybe they're
Is there a chance? That's it.
Is there a chance that maybe
With your right hand up.
they're including like suspected cases, for example, like for every positive case?
They've already said that that's what they're
extrapolate
doing.
That maybe there's 15 other people that they might have come in contact with and added those to the totals. Maybe.
Well, again, I think with something like this, like they haven't even been hiding it. They're like, yes, we're doing it, but they are selling it. They're selling it like like, oh, but if we assume that everyone has it, then people will be scared enough to actually listen to us.
No.
Yeah. Here's another great.
Or we'll save people from
when
COVID.
I see
because
people dead in
everyone
the
will stay
roads, then
in their
I will
houses.
isolate myself. But I'm definitely not ever going to ask my neighbors to do that.
Yeah, you know what else is a great one? I just saw this the other day, and I think Dean mentioned it on Up is Down podcast the other night. I think it was Dean I was listening to. Anyway, Oregon reported 20 new COVID deaths over the weekend. 20 new COVID deaths. Like, that was like in the headline, right? Well, it turns out that those were COVID deaths that had happened since July up until now, and they were reporting them on that day.
They do that all the time.
So
I've noticed that so many times.
So the headline is 20 new deaths reported, right? It's so evil,
Reported.
so diabolical, dude.
And
Why
this-
would
this
they
goes
All told
back
across
to-
6 months.
This goes back to the media are lying liars that you cannot trust.
Yeah.
And I know that we're talking
They
about talking
work
to people.
for the bad guys.
We're talking about talking to people that don't believe that, but you got to know that.
Yeah.
You got to know that this is all just a propaganda machine.
Yeah.
And
That would be probably really the first number one question. Like, do you think the media is being honest with you and has your best interest in heart? That would be a good place to start. Like, okay, are they funded by, or who funds 60% of these media outlets? That's probably on this list somewhere down here. Anyway, what causes more death every year? Flu/pneumonia or COVID?
So they quit reporting on the flu
And
now.
then
So
they quit-
everything's
Yep.
COVID,
They
of
quit
course.
reporting
But,
on the flu.
but until
According
a
to
few
CDC.
months ago, they actually reported.
Yep.
That was
Now-
making their COVID numbers look really bad. They had to quit
Yeah.
reporting on the flu
Yeah.
because it was completely annihilating COVID sickness and death.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to swap it over.
well, to be fair, so what I think that they're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought they were saying for the upcoming season.
Upcoming season, they're not going to be reporting on.
So
flu.
we are just starting
Yeah.
the actual flu
Yeah.
season. So,
Yep.
but that's why I think we should all be watching very carefully right now, because we're going to see all these deaths that they're going to attribute to COVID,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be counting anything as flu.
Oh, that reminds me of another story. So I got to tell you guys this. So I was on Instagram and I saw some meme pop by, and it was like this. I follow just this general meme thing, like not conspiracy. It was like the one non-conspiracy. Anyway, whatever. So the post was it was like this heartbreak story, right? Where like this like elderly woman accidentally texted the wrong person, and this younger gentleman and his girlfriend like got the text. This was like 4 years ago. And the elderly lady was like, "Hey, are you coming over for Thanksgiving?" He's like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "It's your grandma." He's like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't have a grandma." And she's like,
I
"Okay."
saw that, yeah.
So anyway, and so now the story. So I guess it was like this big viral thing, and now they've had Thanksgiving every year since.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out the elderly woman's husband died of COVID this year, and so now it's turned into this big piece where they have a picture of him at the head of the table, and it's all like they have all the photos and everything. Like so and so died of COVID. This will be our first Thanksgiving without him, and we saved him a seat at the table. You know, the whole heartwarm story. And I'm like, this is too perfect to be real. I got to look into this. So we went in. I Googled the guy's name. We went in. We found like some obituaries and stuff like that. It turns out he died of what it said pneumonia. He died of pneumonia, which was exacerbated by COVID apparently or something. But it said pneumonia.
Well, I was reading an article, I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday evening, but it was a family, and it came across my feed, and I wish I would have sent it to you guys. But it was essentially that, I don't remember, I think the person had been tested for COVID. I don't know if maybe they weren't sick, but had a positive test, weren't sick, and then died in a car accident, like a horrific car accident. And then they listed that person as having died from COVID. So the family came forward and said, no, we do not want our loved one listed that way. This is a horrific car accident. And they refused to change it.
Yep.
And another thing
They
is
wanted their money.
Our local Safeway, which is Safeway Albertsons, which we all know how much I think that they're pieces of shit.
Yes.
After flinging me the fuck out of there, but screw all of them. So the district manager of the Safeway Albertsons in the Eugene Springfield area is a nightmare, horrible human.
Yeah.
So that said, what they're doing now is there's some employees that are writing and going public that Safeway is taking pictures. Every time their employees come into work, they're taking a picture of your face and taking your temperature. And they're wondering, is that legal? Is that okay? No, they're not.
Not one
Who
bit
fucking
legal.
knows? But who are they sharing that? Exactly.
We must
And
not
so-
comply to this shit.
So this is absolute tyranny. The fact that and that's how they're going to do it. People say, "Oh, they're not going to mandate the vaccines." Yes, the hell they are, because if you can't drive and you're in your place of business, listen, if you can't even go to work without being tested, why does anybody believe that they're going to let you go to work without the vaccine?
Yeah.
This is absolute bullshit.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's
They're gonna have quite a fight on their hands. So here's a great one. Megan's been. This was a Megan item right here.
Oh,
but
yes,
you
it
want to read
is.
this one?
Okay. What causes more death? Tuberculosis, which is extremely contagious, or COVID?
Yeah. What's caused more? Like, oh fuck. I get so frustrated.
I
with
know
this
too.
one, dude.
I
It's
do
like,
too.
Okay, 1.5 million.
1.5
tuberculosis
million
deaths
people
in
die
2019.
of, and that's so. Tuberculosis, it's such an easy little test, right? It's a little tiny little, they inject a little tiny little bubble of fluid under your arm. You go back in like 24 to 48 hours. I don't remember what it is. And so if you're working with children in the community, I used to do foster care and all those kind of things. So in order to work with children, we had to have that test to make sure that because it is so highly contagious. And I'm sure that anybody who has DuckDuckGo in front of them, to switch off of Google, everybody. We're doing DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
But you can totally see that the effects of dying and being sick from tuberculosis is horrific. Nobody wants to die choking to death on blood. That is far more terrifying than having the sniffles. Yeah. And another thing, and I'm going off track here.
I'm never going outside again. You scared me.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I was seeing reported today was the whole, hospitals are reporting grave after effects and lasting ailments from the COVID, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they don't fucking know that. They don't know about COVID yet, assuming it's even a thing, which it's not.
Yeah.
And to say that people are having lasting effects. Oh, so just to be clear. So we have lasting effects from vaccines, which we don't acknowledge, that go for years and years and years and years, but we don't study it. But in an 8 months period of time, we've studied COVID enough to know how long the effects are going to last and how severe that they are. Mm-hmm. So it's absolute propaganda. Yeah. It's absolute propaganda.
And I just thought of something. As we're kind of looking back at as we've gone through this disease over the 8 months or whatever, one of the things that'll kind of point out the media's propaganda machine on this is, I don't know if you guys remember a few months back, probably about July or something like that, they were trying to promote this thing in children getting Kawasaki disease, and they were trying to link it to COVID. Kawasaki disease is it's this really rare, and again, it's one of these diseases they don't actually test for. It's just you get 3 out of these 5 symptoms, and then they call it Kawasaki disease, right? But but children just weren't affected by COVID, so they were trying so hard to link children to fucking something, so they came up with Kawasaki disease. Oh god! And it died out because there just wasn't enough there. But the fucking media jumped on it, and they were like, all the media outlets said Kawasaki disease, COVID's causing Kawasaki disease. But
if they were to imagine if they were doing this with tuberculosis, they were tracking worldwide tuberculosis cases. It would seem a lot more frightening because there would be a lot more people dying all over the place around you from very horrifying ways. It'd just be.
There's one thing COVID's causing. There's one for sure factual thing that COVID's causing.
What's that?
And that's fascism.
Fascism. Yes.
That's the one for sure thing.
Yeah. Absolute
and there's proof in every sect that you can possibly put this into.
And all these motherfuckers
causing the Great Reset.
Yeah, all these people running around with their masks on, they think that they're out there fighting fascism. And so it's like they've just been.
Well, so the dictionary changed the definition. I told you about that, right? They changed it to what fascism is, and they said that it's a far right ideology. I'm like,
no.
I'm gonna go lay in the street. I can't. I can't because they're kids, high school kids and college kids are looking up, going, "Oh, that's what fascism." And I'm like, okay, they just changed that definition.
How many instances of changing the dictionary have we seen just since we started doing this
Holy
podcast?
Holy shit, so much.
Since we started doing this podcast.
So Webster's is corrupted.
Well, the
Wiki,
whole world's corrupt.
All of it.
Now, what is Nazi? Do you guys know what Nazi stands for in America? The Nazi
National Socialism.
The National Socialism, right? So it's So anyway,
National Socialist Party.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so moving on here. So here's a great little brain teaser. You think if we were in this global pandemic and people are dying right and left, the total number of deaths have increased. If you look at the total number of all deaths worldwide, has the number of deaths for 2020 so far been extraordinarily higher than in previous years?
Well, has it?
No, it's
no,
way
of course
less.
not.
Then 2018.
it's literally we locked ourselves down and now we're just dying of less things.
Yeah. Less traffic accidents.
Less traffic accidents, But that said, addiction and suicide are through the roof.
Sure, absolutely.
The people falling away to mental struggles, that is through the roof by 600 and 700% in most areas in the country.
So how about have year-over-year numbers for things such as heart disease, cancer gone down because those deaths are now being recorded as COVID deaths? I guess that's kind of a leading question, but I
like how it's worded. Yes.
No, it is.
It points them in the right direction.
Yeah,
we concur.
We concur.
Are hospitals being overrun with COVID cases?
Well, CNN said yes.
Well, the media would like you to think that.
Yeah.
This goes to the whole scam, though.
Yeah.
We're selling a fake test to everyone that's saying everybody's positive for something, that they are asymptomatic. And whenever anyone goes to the hospital, if they test positive for this thing, everything that we have in the hospital is because of this thing.
Yeah.
And they
that's it.
and we're probably going up now because we're having effects of 8 months of fucking locking people down.
So we have people in the hospital that they're having back surgeries and they're having babies and they're testing them and cycling their tests and making it amplify until they get the numbers they want so they can get the government kickbacks and all of the and also all these paid off governors and all these paid off health officials. It's so diabolical.
Not Belarus.
Yeah,
it's so diabolical.
Yeah, not Belarus.
Belarus is hanging tough, representing.
Yes.
So here's
Watch
a
your back.
Yeah. So this one should have been higher up on the list. This should have been like number 1 or 2,
Okay.
as far as like an intro brain teaser. But what is? And I ask this question to people a lot, all the time, and nobody seems to know.
Do they just give you
this.
the fluoride stare?
The fluoride stare. I love that. It's like, so do you know what is and always has been the second most common strain of the common cold after the rhinovirus? What's the category of virus that's the second most common after the rhinovirus? It always has been.
Can I guess?
You go ahead.
I'm going to guess.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
All right.
Is it the coronavirus?
Is it coronavirus?
Oh my God! Someone get this girl a medal! Gold star! Woo!
Yeah, so the second most common strain of the common cold is, in fact, the coronavirus. So the coronavirus is not some new thing that came out of China. It's always been around for billions of years.
Oh, but this is the novel coronavirus. So,
Oh,
and let's just so this coronavirus is so novel that it doesn't follow the same trajectory as every other type of virus in this category.
Plus,
and
why?
every other one. Right.
Listen, and I know we talked about vaccines extensively, but since when do we have vaccines for viruses? Like, we can treat bacterial infections, but really, what are viruses being the nature that they are? And the way that they can change,
Well, and they mutate.
That's what I'm saying.
I
They
mean,
mutate.
so-
That's the word I'm looking for.
No, and that's why the flu shot is such a shit show. I mean,
Total.
one of the reasons, one of the many reasons,
All right.
is that they're just guessing. They're guessing.
Yeah.
So are we going to do this? I mean, that's what they will have us do, unless we're going to try these new experimental RNA vaccines. Where now, and I've heard people explain this, and I'm not exactly. I don't understand it completely myself, but essentially, it's like telling your body how to make the proteins, so then your body will make the antibodies to fight those.
Right.
So we're creating the problem for your body to fight the thing to fight it. It's just so experimental. But this is the same one that when they've tried to do it in the past, that we've had tons of animals die.
Yeah, so that was.
But they're
the
skipping
next-
animal trials. They're going to skip
Yep.
straight. And in fact, what did Gates say? He on the pandemic, he was like, "Well, it just depends on if the FDA
Yeah.
wants to go ahead and roll this through.
Yeah, that's
See if we don't want to have liability."
That's a really important thing to point out, and I think that's.
I'm just wondering, how come he never talks about sticking it in his arm? I've seen him over in Africa killing those kids, dropping the fucking polio oral in their mouths, and then we've got dead and crippled
This is a
kids.
bigger question that I think that is like the most important question of all of these, really. And I think that anyone who can answer this honestly should question everything.
Yes.
Is that any one of these billionaire ass motherfuckers that's trying to tell us how we should handle this thing, do you really believe that they're going to treat themselves with the same way they're telling us to treat ourselves?
Isn't Kate Brown in Hawaii?
Yeah, no
Speaking
shit.
of-
No shit.
With her family,
Do
right?
you think
Okay.
she's has a mask on and fucking in a house right now in Hawaii? You're fucking out of your mind.
She's in
Come
Hawaii
on.
with a layover to China, probably.
Oh, no, she is. It's true. That's true.
Or she just got them over. China's over there with her.
Gosh.
Yep. Just
so
split- then
evil.
She's like, okay, we'll split the distance. Let's just meet in Hawaii. How about that? Yeah.
But I mean,
Listen,
that's
I
the
don't-
whole thing, though. Is like that these billionaire assholes that are telling us that they're gonna save us all and help us all. Like, do you really buy that?
They call
Does
us the
anyone buy
unwashed
that?
masses. Since
Oh, yeah.
when do they
Useless
give a
eaters.
shit about us?
They don't.
And all of these people they all have ties to China. They're all proclaimed eugenicists. They all would like to see the population decrease. They all are about people not having their own personal property. They're about people not. I mean, it goes on and
This
on
is
and
about
on.
enslaving us.
It's 100,000%.
It's about enslaving us.
And those of us that know that, we're starting to feel that rumble. Like, the time is coming, right? Like, if you say anything about Civil War or like us rising up on the internet, they will take you the fuck down and say that you're inciting violence by talking about the coming war. And I think we all know that there is a coming war.
Yeah, Charlie's talking about that too. He's like, look at it, you've been too worried eating your soy burger. And
What did he say? What did he say?
He was so funny. He's
Yeah,
like, no, but he's like, you'll see me in the camp. You'll be like, I like that episode number 76 or whatever, Charlie in the camp.
Yeah. You've been eating soy burgers this whole time. The other guys,
Soylent Green.
Well,
we're saving up on ammo. So
somebody reached out to me on through Facebook. Who I don't know this person personally, but I guess that they see a lot of the stuff that I post, which we all know what my Facebook feed looks like. So, but he was talking to me about our ideas on homesteading and some of the things that we posted, and we talk about moving off grid a lot and getting a plot of land, and he took it a step further and really opened my eyes. And maybe it's like how you were saying, like Charlie did, but he was like, just moving off grid isn't going to be enough, because you have to understand when everything truly collapses and people can't get food and people are being restricted from having any kind of freedom or sovereignty, they're going to start literally like pouring out into these outlying areas. And so where you need to be looking, he was saying to me, he's like, you need to be looking somewhere that's like harder for people to get to, where people don't want to try to get to where you are to live there. They don't want to try to take what you have because it's too much of an inconvenience for them to get to where you are.
We're gonna have to learn how to ice fish and stuff.
Oh man, totally. So, but it was interesting because I actually, for all the time I talk about this and all the time I spent prepping at my house and sort of just mentally and emotionally preparing, trying to move. We all are hoping to not be stuck in Oregon when all this rolls out. And I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, it's true.
I hadn't even thought about that. He made good points.
I read what you put too. I mean, I think that's a really good point.
Eye-opening.
For sure.
So
That's such a good point.
I'm hoping that he'll sit and talk with all of us, because
I'm down
you know
to
what I
talk
mean?
with for sure.
We should have a
the
conversation.
interesting thing is he was saying like that list that we were looking at, right? Where we listed
The mass
states
exit.
like 1 to 50, like the most, and the criteria being things like politics and all this stuff, and it's like, dude, when it hits the fan, none of that's gonna matter.
That's what he was saying. He goes, that doesn't go deep enough. That's what he goes. That's not even deep enough. He's like, not to be disrespectful, but like at a first glance, I'm like, you're not wrong. Like it's good.
Vaccine mandates, like no, that's all out the window, dude.
Because it's going to be fighting. It's not going to be us sitting underneath the laws that we can keep ourselves sovereign and try to hope that they don't come on our land. It's literally going to be people fighting to keep people off.
And everyone's gonna be like, dude, we could have fought this back when it was just about the
Unless everyone would like to rise up now and say no, and then we don't have to see that. Our kids don't have to see there be bloodshed and war. Because
your kids will probably respect you more if you stood up against the fascist government trying to take over.
Dude, no matter what,
they
I'm glad.
would, man. Give them a fucking chance.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we're trying to do.
Glad to be on this side of things with you guys.
Heck
So
yeah,
great.
man. Totally.
So next one here is
Well,
holy
we're
crap.
making hella good progress here.
Wow.
Okay, here we go.
Where are we?
I know.
Okay, what is the average age of death for someone labeled as a COVID death?
Okay. Should we roll through a couple? You want to talk on all of them, or do you want to roll through a few?
No,
I think that we should stop. I mean,
so this is a good one. So what is the average age of COVID death worldwide? Also, what is the average age of human life expectancy?
Oh, I love it when you bring that
one.
up.
This is a great one. So this was a few months ago, so the numbers might have changed, but we have it. The first stat was from, God, I can't even read that. It says CEBM.net, COVID-19 global 19 case fatality rate. Average age of death for the worldwide, 79.5 years old. And then the next one is from CDC.gov, average human life expectancy, 73.2 years.
So you're saying that if you have COVID, you live longer, exponentially
on average,
longer.
You live about 6 years longer.
Isn't this the one we got into with, what was it, Stan with?
Yeah. So this is.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, as he
is
was.
this a Stan argument?
As he was
you can't compare the U.S. to the world.
And so then when I did go back and compare U.S. to the world, it was like even worse. It made my point even more, And so it's just like whatever, dude. So yeah. So technically, you guys, all of you that are living in fear, you actually live longer if you get COVID. Technically.
It's building your immune system. Embrace it. Zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D. What was the other one? Turmeric? Is that what you have?
I do like turmeric, vitamin
turmeric,
C,
that's
vitamin
it.
D,
Okay.
vitamin all kinds of vitamin D's and
vitamin D is the most important. I mean,
I try to take 4,000 IUs every single day.
Yeah, I try to do
zinc.
5,000 ones, I think. So, but they say 3,000 to 5,000 IUs of vitamin D makes a world of difference.
Especially if you're in the Pacific Northwest, like Oregon, Washington. We don't have any sun. We're not getting vitamin D.
You have to take it no matter what. But
I notice my mood, like my whole mental, like clarity and how I feel emotionally changes. I mean, within 24 hours, if I can tell, like, okay, I'm kind of getting depressed. I'm kind of feeling blue. I'm like, I haven't taken vitamin D in like 2 or 3 days. And if I take it by the next day, it's markedly different.
Sure.
Totally.
No, but like there are serious studies that show the number of people that die from COVID with vitamin D deficiency compared to the people that are sufficient is a
100%.
world of difference.
Yeah.
It is like if you are sufficient in vitamin D, your chances of dying are almost nothing. Like it comes down to that. So
Yep. 100%.
It's gross, huh?
So
Is
so
it
awful.
disgusting?
Yeah, it's so
What's
I
awful.
know
gross?
you'd hate it.
The cake. I can't.
He's like
God.
nibbling
I
the
keep
little
picking at
bits.
the little crumbles on the cake, dude. Oh my
they're
god.
so good.
So that was a good one. Okay, so next one.
Grab yourself a piece of cake and follow
yeah.
along with us, people.
Yeah, sorry,
Well,
Tim.
everyone who's listening to this is having Thanksgiving dinner or has
Yeah.
had or
Yeah.
hopefully. My hope is that everyone's listening to this while they're making Thanksgiving
Watch
dinner.
this shit with grandma.
That's
Yeah, no,
it.
How about this? They
but
just got into a big old fucking argument with somebody, and they're just sitting in the living and their kid in the garage, and they're like, "Fuck those motherfuckers! I'm gonna listen to some Truthzilla," and now they're gonna have a whole bunch of facts to go back into the house with. So
That's it, yeah.
They'll be like, "Hold on, okay, now hold on, let's back it up here now."
But gently, but bring it across gently,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Nobody
Grandma?
likes to be told, but we like seeds planted.
Grandma, listen, do you know how long scientists have been unsuccessfully trying to create a vaccine for the coronavirus family of viruses?
The second most common strain of the cold, yes.
Oh, yeah.
How about 17 years?
17 years they've been trying to make
that
a
all?
vaccine.
And what have we found when they've
But
been
it's a
trying to
good
do
thing
this?
that they made a vaccine within 8 months. Then you guys,
Like,
this
it
is
was
like
like-
after
it's like a few
17
months.
years.
Warp speed.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
Have you guys heard there's this new interview with Fauci, and he's
God.
explaining about how like no one should be worried because of all these reasons, how it's totally safe that they've done it this
You
fast.
first. You first,
Yeah,
bitch.
no doubt.
You
Of
and
course.
Bill Gates. Let me see you get your first and your second. Let's have a 24-hour camera
Yeah.
on you because I want to see about the long-term effects of this
Yeah.
vaccine. So in 15 years, we'll come back and see how that
Yeah.
might have
Well,
affected
The thing
you.
is even if they did it, they would just lie. They wouldn't put the real shot. They'd put a
Yeah,
placebo.
they'd
They'd
placebo.
actually use a placebo when they're giving it to themselves.
I'd rather die by a naturally occurring
Yeah.
organic virus,
Yeah, 100%.
Anything else than to lose my freedom or my sovereignty. And
Yeah.
people, would you want other people to die? Frankly, your other people dying are not my fucking problem. My life, my existence, and that of my children is my problem. And if you're
Yep.
concerned that this is going to
Stay
affect
inside.
you, stay the fuck in. But I don't
Yeah.
want to stay in.
Yep.
I don't need to cover my face. And healthy people breathing is not making other people sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck right off. Even according to the World Health Organization. That was another one I think we missed. Oh, yeah. So that we did. Did the World Health Organization admit that asymptomatic means people that don't have symptoms? Did they admit that asymptomatic carriers of COVID rarely transfer the virus to others? Yes, they did.
Oh, they said that, and then the next day she took it back because someone got on her
Because-
ass.
Yeah.
What was her
Yeah.
name? Do you remember her
I can't
name?
remember
I
her
can't remember her name.
Yeah.
We did an episode with
Yeah.
about that.
Go
I
back and
remember.
watch one of our other episodes.
But yeah,
watch all
One of the other ones.
watch all of our previous episodes. You'll
You
find
have
it.
like 27 to
Kirko?
catch up on.
Yeah.
I forget.
And so here's the thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. This is not even for on air. I was going to ask something about the thumbnail. I don't know where my mind went.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
but go ahead.
Well, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Okay, so I want to just, as long as we were talking about the 17 years of working on this
Yes.
coronavirus vaccine.
Yeah, talk
I just
about
want to point out that look into hyperimmunity.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
this is what happened when they injected these animals with these previous attempts at a coronavirus vaccine. Is they got the antibodies that they were supposed to from the vaccine, because all of vaccinology is based on creating antibodies, which doesn't take into account T cell immunity, or there's even, I forget what the other ones are called, but like Dr. Shiva's taken it a step further with because he basically discovered a whole new immune system within the immune system, because there's
I love
the
Dr.
humoral,
Shiva.
there's the humoral, there's the I forget. I listen to a lot of vaccine related
Yeah.
podcasts, and but,
You're the man on that.
But but his is, what is his? I forget the name of it. But he came up with, he basically did a whole new immune system that they took into account. There's cell mediated response. That's the first one. Then there's their humoral. So the cell mediated is just like your cells like coming together to respond to this invasion or whatever, you know. And then the humoral is like essentially the cells that remember to attack that thing when it comes. And then there's the gosh, I can't remember. Tim James talked about it last week, but there's a whole nother system that's on top of that. But anyways, the point is with the coronavirus vaccines that they did, what happened is they got the antibodies, and then when they were exposed to the virus, they went into this thing called hyperimmunity, and it killed all the animals. The animals, like literally all the animals died because it was how these antibodies responded when they were subject to the virus. And that's been my biggest fear this whole time, is like, oh, this vaccine works. And oh, here's the virus. And now you're dead.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So it's a wonder why they're skipping animal trials during this COVID vaccine, because they already know what's going to happen. They don't want that data set to be
That's
in their study.
You're dead right on that. They don't want there to have to be exactly the public acknowledge that every single one of them died.
Yeah,
They're dying.
This is oh god, yeah.
And let's remind us too, because the amount of vaccine that they give a baby is the same amount they give a 10-year-old is the same amount they give a 40-year-old. So
yeah, 600-pound 40-year-old.
That's
right?
it. That's it. You're
insane.
dead on.
Yep. All right. So now, even from the very beginning, the answer was, oh, well, that's fine. We'll just put them on a ventilator and they'll be fine, right?
Vent people to death.
Yeah. So what is the percentage of people who die after being placed on a ventilator?
I actually don't know.
90%.
Is it 90?
80 to 90%.
Okay, I was going to say it was like 95.
I know in New York it was 90% when Cuomo was just killing everyone.
Just
so
murder.
he was
Straight
just
It's straight murder.
murdering
This
people.
is medical murder.
And now he's got an award for it.
Yep. And they get
Oh,
paid.
did he? Wait, is he the one who got he won the Emmy?
Or he won, yes.
Yeah.
Like Emmy Award,
God.
dude. So evil, dude.
The only, literally, this is, maybe I shouldn't even say this out loud as we're recording. The only thing that gives me like, in my dark human, the only thing that gives me hope is knowing that if they don't get punished on this plane, they're going to get punished in the afterlife.
Oh,
These
yeah.
people are going to burn for this.
That's why
They're
they're so
going to
terrified.
burn. They are. That's why they're trying so hard to be transhumanist,
Yep.
so that they don't have to cross over
Yeah.
to the afterlife realm, because
They know.
they know where they're going.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
straight wicked.
Yep.
Straight
absolutely.
wicked.
Absolutely.
I loved what you made a meme earlier,
Oh, yeah.
and you put what you said at the top
Yeah.
about how it's like that, repeating that fear, and it's like a wicked spell
It's
over
like
the
literally
nation.
just like dark
That
magic.
it was. I screenshot. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was like starting to incorporate it in the blog that I was working on. So
Yeah, I mean, it literally is. Like it was just this photo of like people are gathering for Thanksgiving despite risks of higher infection, and it's a photo of a guy like digging a grave in a cemetery. It's like a guy standing in a hole in a cemetery digging a grave with like. And I'm like, this is so fucked.
such propaganda.
It's so
dude.
evil, dude. Okay, Americans in holiday rush despite highest COVID-19 death toll in 6 months with a guy in a freaking grave, dude. Look at that. You see that? You see that? Like,
Wait, so read the part you
so
wrote.
I'm like, there's ain't no MF in surging death toll. These demons are relentless. Don't let their spells work on you. This
That's
is a literal and blatant transfer of dark energy in the form of fear through screens to the uninitiated. We are invincible with a shield of knowledge.
Heck yes. Oh man, I love how you articulated that.
That's what it is.
Demons
It's
and
just dark energy. Like
you're
just
right.
being just blast out in the world through screens. It's like literally like shooting out a magic spell like on
is.
all of us, and people that aren't the uninitiated, right? Those who are still under that spell
They
and
are.
are still not.
They're being led so far
They'll
astray.
They'll see that, and immediately it'll be like a fear response in them. And I feel so.
I can't
bad.
endanger my
It's
parents.
so
What about my
evil.
kids? Oh,
it's
yeah.
so evil. It's such
Yeah.
a deliberate attack, and those who have eyes to see it can see that it's such a deliberate evil attack.
Why
man.
would
It's so
anybody
crazy.
want to take the computer guy's vaccine?
Oh God!
Untested, untried, given all of the other history with
Yeah.
vaccines.
Oh, yes, the computer guy. We're getting into him. How
Oh,
about this?
God.
So just to finish up that, what is the percentage of people who die with ventilators? And then is there a financial incentive for hospitals to place a person on a ventilator?
100% yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
it's
You
like
get 13,000
For a
to
positive
for a
case.
positive case
Yep.
and 39,000 for
vent death.
There should not be
Yep.
any financial incentive for hospitals to report COVID deaths. Not
Yep.
at all.
Nope.
Not at all. So that again, that's
Yep.
that's a huge problem.
Yep, the CARES
That's a
Act. So
huge
they are
problem.
financially incentivized to not only diagnose you as positive with COVID, but to kill you on a ventilator. What do you think about that?
Well,
All right, so there you go.
and they've done it, and we have proof of it.
Yep, yeah, 100%.
We have proof
It's
of it.
just common knowledge. Like, this is not us, like, conspiracy tinfoil hat shit, dude.
So far, nothing we've said on this. Maybe the esoteric episode. People could be like, maybe not. For sure.
But
But,
no.
everything else we said, there's no conspiracy theory.
That's why
This is
this is-
everything that we talk about on the show is factual.
This is Truthzilla,
Truth.
baby.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. So I still reject that term.
Yeah,
Conspiracy
absolutely.
analysts
Yeah,
to bring you the
conspiracy
truth.
analysts. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
totally
So,
agreed.
here's another brain teaser. So, here, you want to read this one? Ed, you want to do that one?
Who benefits from a society being shut down? Are they the same ones perpetuating the fear?
So, by that, I would say, who benefits from this, right? Big pharmaceutical, right?
Yep.
Who
The people who
funds-
own the patents,
Yep.
right? So we're talking about the CDC,
CDC,
the
FDA,
CDC,
yeah. Fauci
Fauci,
specifically.
right? The World Health Organization. Let's talk about people look into who is the head of the World Health Organization and tell me why you're comfortable. Ask this of your family. Why are you comfortable with this guy making these kind of decisions?
Yeah, and totally, like, so Oh my God.
Look into his background. It doesn't take. It's not hard.
that
Like
just-
go it, and
Yeah.
then just go one onion layer
Whatever
down.
his
That's all.
little
Even if
weaselly
you want to
name
like, because it's overwhelming, you just want to like cut it there.
Yeah.
Take it one level down because
Yeah.
you're gonna uncover
Yeah.
an anthill.
Yeah.
You are, and
Yep.
and it's pouring out. You
And
can't
we've,
stop them.
we've been going a lot deeper than that, obviously,
Yeah.
if you've been following us for a while. But I mean, look into Agenda 21, Agenda
Yeah.
2030. Look into
Every
the World Economic
single
Forum.
thing that
Great
is coming
reset.
down
All
the
these
pipes
things-
is about this. It's
They
all
have told us. They have told us. They've been telling us for years and years and years. People have been fighting this, but they have used this viral moment in history
To roll it out.
to make a huge push towards this.
Yeah.
This is the new world order.
Well, this whole stolen tyrannical election
Yeah.
being part of it, because they know that underneath level-headed, the majority of Americans don't stand for this.
Yeah,
they don't want it. Why would anybody, except for the few completely fucked off people, why would anybody be okay with removing their own sovereignty, much less the sovereignty of a brother, sister, neighbor, co-worker? Why would anybody be okay with that? And that is why they had to skew this election. It went so hard the other direction. And again, it doesn't have to be about, Trump was, the winner of the world. Again, we all have our issues with him. This wasn't about that. But people didn't want fascism. People didn't want communist China here. People don't want to be relieved of their pets, their property, their lives, and their livelihood.
Yeah.
And Charlie was just making some good points about this on his newest episode too. And it's like, if I can understand, like you like in our echo chamber here, like we can see, all these people are so anti-Trump. They may not have been pro-Biden, but they were so anti-Trump. But ask yourself, do you really believe that 10 million more people voted for Biden than Obama? 10 million more people.
Give me a break.
Do you really believe that? Like, just honestly, do you believe that? This is this is the biggest vote turnout ever by these 10 million people on the Democratic side for.
You mean all of the dead people and all the fraudulent people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and what about John Kerry?
John Kerry, yeah, he's just a dirtbag.
Well, I know, but like Biden saying that he was going to appoint him as the head of he's the czar of the climate,
climate
whatever.
czar, yeah, skull and bone.
Well, did you hear what he was looking to put Hillary as?
Oh God, no,
God.
I didn't catch that.
She's going to
Is
be
she in charge of children somewhere?
the liaison to the UN.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I did
Like, of
see that.
course.
I think wasn't Bill Clinton that for a while? Bill Clinton that?
These
I mean,
people, she is straight wicked. Like,
Yeah.
there's gonna,
Oh, yeah.
she's going straight down to the dark one.
Oh,
she's so awful.
She's already down there.
Yeah.
She is.
She's doing his
I
bidding.
halfway wonder if these people are even really like. This is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Part. I wonder, are they really alive, or are they like cloned fucking
Yeah.
machines?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
They're
all
straight
right. So
up-
man, that's not necessarily true. I'm speculating. I'm
Yep,
curious.
yep. So speaking of the computer guy, ask your friends and your family. This is a great one. I ask people this all the time. Like, so have you heard of Event 201? What's Event 201? Many of you listening, we know Event 201, right? Okay.
Right,
So
right.
we can just move on. But ask them that. What is Event 201? Have you heard of it? They're going to look at you and say no. How about Dark Winter, right?
Better
Talk
yet,
about
just
Dark
put
Winter.
it on the TV
Yeah, just
while
watch it, show them.
grandma's sitting out there after a big meal. Put on Event 201. She'll be like, it'll just feel like normal programming.
Well, that's what
Play
it is.
It's just
pandemic
normal
indoctrination.
That's-
Play pandemic indoctrination while people are eating dinner. Because
Yeah.
throughout the conversation, people are going to listen. This is seeds. No one's going to come around who's not already around overnight. Do you want it closer to you? Do you want to finish what I started?
It's not professional. I'll wait till we're done recording.
You
It's
sure?
more cake.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you want to have mine?
No, maybe later. Okay. All right.
I have
right.
to get more water.
But still, that's the thing too. It's like, how about this? You just put on Event 201 and just pretend like this is current events, like what's going on.
That's what I'm saying.
And people
just
won't be
pretend.
able to-
People wouldn't even be able to tell the
it's not
difference.
even- you can't
It's the
even
exact same
differentiate.
thing they're doing on the news
Yeah.
is what they were pretending to do on the news before this thing happened. It's the exact same thing. They had this planned.
Yeah.
How did they have the foreknowledge?
Yep.
How
Exactly.
did they?
Yep.
Bill Cooper talked about this
Yep,
right
yeah.
before they fucking murdered him.
Yep. And then, so moving on with the computer guy. So, what is the decade of vaccines? And who introduced the decade of vaccines? So, back in 2010, our friend Bill Gates said, "This is going to be the decade of vaccines." Right? So, and who would have thought? Now, did Bill? Here's another leading question, but whatever. Did Bill Gates say that he expects to get a 20-to-1 return on investment for a global vaccine program? Yes, he did.
I don't think he said that he expects. I think he said that he has gotten a 20-to-1 return.
Okay.
I don't think it was like I'm gonna get that. It's like this is what the return I'm already getting on these
Yep.
vaccines.
Yep.
It was
This-
past tense.
Real humanitarian trying to save the world. But by the way, the money that they've spent on travel is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation alone on travel to other countries to try to make all these kind of sick deals with their vaccine program could have probably fed most of the countries they visited the year's over.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly. They could have
They
fed
could
the whole
have
world.
given them
They could
nutrition.
have saved the world.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So the fact that anyone believes that this is about saving anybody
Yeah.
is like
oh god.
such cognitive dissonance.
totally,
like
totally.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
it's the biggest
absolutely.
mind fuck ever.
Yep.
And I would just say at this moment, like, if you have someone that's willing to look into the other side, this is a great point to get them the James Corbett Bill Gates documentary.
Yep.
Because
Do
that is the holy grail on Bill Gates, in my opinion.
James Corbett?
He knocks it. He just puts it out so well.
Yep. We'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely.
James Corbett.
Yeah, Bill Gates series.
Bill
It's
Gates.
That's one of the best things ever.
Oh, did you
And-
guys see that Dell had James Corbett on this
Yes,
this
I
week
listened to- well, I listened to part of
explaining
that.
the
Wait, who did?
World Economic Forum? Dell,
Dell
on the
Bigtree
Highwire.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fantastic. It's so funny. Dell has to like kind of make all these disclaimers because all his audience is just people that are like, it's all about vaccines and like in medical world, but like he sees like this thing is all related. This is these are not separate issues,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
This is all the same issue. That's what I always say when
Yeah.
we're on the union. I'm like these people over here in the vaccine world, in our world here, this is one and the same. We need to unite. We need to bring these people to us and like fight the same fight because these people are the same people that are outside the courthouses fighting these mandates that they're trying to lobby every single legislative season for vaccines.
Right.
Those people need to be the people helping us fight this fight.
That's
Absolutely,
it.
and I
That's
think
it.
I heard that stood out to me too. Dell was kind of downplaying like his how much he was like kind of into the whole conspiracy side. But when we were on the Union of the Unwanted, he did use the word lizard.
Yeah, he
did
called
use
out the
word
lizard people.
did
He
use the
called
word
out the lizard people.
Yes, we were
Wait,
there.
wait. When was Dell on Union? I must have. I
You were
obviously
there.
wasn't
You
here.
were there. It was,
We
it
were
was
there.
a couple
No.
months
It was
ago.
a few months ago. Yeah,
With Dell Bigtree?
Yeah.
Dell Bigtree,
Yeah.
dude.
I wasn't.
You were there. We were there.
think you were.
Yeah.
No.
It must have been so overwhelming. But anyway.
No. I don't
Anyway.
think I was there.
Anyway.
You might not have. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and see.
yeah.
I obviously missed something.
I didn't say a word. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my god.
I didn't say
there's
anything
no
when
Big
Dell
Tree.
was there. We got some in.
I think it was
like,
our
after Dell
second
left.
time
That was like
on
our
it.
second time on there.
Yeah.
But I've missed 1.5
Yeah.
times. So I bet I did.
Maybe,
think so.
maybe.
I think you messaged me and you're like, oh my God, Dell. And I was like, oh
Maybe,
shit.
maybe we'll have to go back.
All
and
right,
look.
all right,
Anyway,
anyway.
whatever. We'll get him next time.
Okay.
We'll have Dell on soon. Don't worry.
Definitely.
Now this is a great one, you guys. Like, and there's a previous episode that we did where we were like, we have names.
Yep.
Right. So, are there any conflicts of interest between big pharma and the regulatory agencies such as the CDC, NIH, or FDA? So, in other words, are there people that are like high up executives in big pharma that then go over to CDC to like or FDA to kind of change some of the regulatory laws?
And when they go
then
back and forth.
come back over to the pharmacy side. Like, does
It's
that
like
happen?
the same. It's
Is
the
that-
same
is
few
it-
names, actually.
Yeah.
It's the same few names.
We have names.
So-
so it was a previous episode. I don't have those readily available, but
Want me
look
to do
into
this
it.
one?
I had
I'll
that
do
one,
that one.
I had that one meme. Talk for a second because I'm going to get that
Okay.
meme that we had that I thought was so good on this.
So yes, Megan, what's the next one here?
Okay. So
Great question to ask right here.
Yeah. Okay, totally.
This is-
What is the 1986 Childhood Vaccine Injury Act? Did it make it so that vaccine manufacturers no longer have any liability? And if so, what incentives do vaccine manufacturers have to make a safe product?
Right.
The only product available to man that the manufacturers have no liability for.
Yeah.
And we did a
Why would
whole
that
we did a
be,
whole
since they're so
Episode
safe?
episode on this one, and I think that there's a world of knowledge out there. We all watched that documentary. That
The
was
1986,
great too.
The Act. I can't recommend that enough. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and we didn't. Vax 2 are also great.
I haven't
Del
seen that yet. I
Bigtree.
need to.
Yeah, we should all watch Vax some nights.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've seen it, anyways, we were 1986. The Act is new, so we couldn't put it embedded on our website because
Yeah.
you have to pay for it at this point. Anyways, like there's a whole story to there. Barbara Loe Fisher, if you follow her story, she was one of the
OG.
instrumental people in fighting against these vaccine mandates.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she
yeah.
had a vaccine injured child before we had kind of discovered how dishonest the whole system was,
Yes.
which I think there's been people speculating forever.
And like anything, the media keeps
Yeah.
the real knowledge, and the people, the parents, the hundreds of thousands or millions of parents would come forward and say, "My kid's been hurt or my kid's
they
been
will
killed by
discredit
this."
you, they will discredit
Look
you.
at look what they're doing to doctors who will come out
Yeah.
right now against COVID and go, "Hey, this is
Canceled.
absolute bullshit. No one's dying in the hospital. We need to not," and they shut them down immediately. So they've been canceled in the vaccine world.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or they'll report it on your Wikipedia page and lock it so someone can edit it and say there's a conspiracy there's been discredited and debunked.
Yeah, she was writing those vaccine inserts when this first happened. She was a part of the group that was actually writing the parents that were helping together with them write
Yeah.
those inserts so
Yep.
parents would know. Now you don't even see those inserts. They don't even give you those inserts. You have to ask for them, and they look at you like you're crazy if you do, right? So anyways,
Which why wouldn't they want people to be informed? Why is that a problem? That you have to ask yourself when your pharmacist or your doctor look at you funny when you ask questions about your treatment or what they're putting in your bodies. You should know right there that's a problem.
And
Anybody
we've
who
also
wants
been
to
so-
keep any kind of information from you or not be transparent, you should have red flags going up all over the place.
well, we've been so conditioned in our country too, because we're one of
The
the
doctors
only
are gods.
the
That's
only
it.
2 countries that allow the big pharma to advertise on television and whatnot. So you have all these, they don't have vaccine commercials very often, but
But they
what
have
they'll
asked your doctor about every other drug
but
in the world.
any of these drugs they put up there, they'll at least half of the commercial is just the side effects.
Yeah.
And so we're conditioned to this just normal.
Right.
It's
It's
normal.
Not
But
a big
then
deal.
at the same time
Yeah,
there's like
regression's
Operation
normal,
Quack Hack,
right, of course, yeah.
where the FDA is telling you, you can't sell vitamin C, you can't sell silver. These things, natural remedies are now you're crazy. Natural remedies.
I
but-
use silver. Actually, my little boy, the next one younger than my daughter, who was vaccine injured, he had the same amount of vaccines as her, essentially, but he ended up getting like terrible allergies, right?
Yeah.
Just terrible. We lived in California, so our doctor told us to take all the carpet out of your house, move to the beach, doing all these things, and I was like, well, as much as I'd love to go live at the beach and pull the carpet out of the house we're renting, I can't do that. So, but we started looking at again chiropractic medicine, holistic diet, and then we put him on like silver. Basically, I would order it in the mail and it would come in. However, I don't even remember now what it was, but that made it to where he literally wanted him on so many allergy medications, hydrocortisone at some point. Yeah. I mean, the things that are really so terrible, and especially he was little, like 3-4 years old, but that silver was healing. Healing. So,
I have
and I
some
don't,
right
and I only know a tiny bit about these things. Still, you know what I mean?
Sure, but we're
healing
gaining all these people
exactly.
in our lives right now because we're on this journey and we're trying to find that stuff because that's the real. We want to heal.
We do.
What Western medicine is not about healing.
Well, we don't need petroleum-based pharmaceuticals
Exactly.
to suppress and kill our immune systems and to make our, and our liver and our kidneys are meant to throw off, normal toxins and normal sicknesses and all those we're being suppressed with the shit they spray in the air, our water, our food, all of these things, the vaccines.
Cake.
Chocolate cake from the communist
We do
bakery.
not speak against chocolate ganache, Ed.
From the
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
from the communist
I'm like
bakery.
sitting here. I'm like,
It
dude,
was. They-
Don't say their name unless they sponsor.
I'm not. In fact, I meant to take that off the thing.
We'll ask them to sponsor us, then we'll say their name. But
Right,
we're not going
right.
to support the communist bakery.
Okay, I want to before we move on here, just the conflicts of interest with the FDA and CDC. Just we posted this meme the other day, and this is Dr. Herbert Lay, and he was a former commissioner of the U.S. FDA from 1923 to 2001, and he said the FDA protects the big drug companies and is subsequently rewarded. And using the government's police powers, they attack those who threaten the big drug companies.
Operation Quack Hack.
People think that the FDA is protecting them. It isn't. What the FDA is doing and what the public think it is doing are as different as night and day. So there you go.
Did
there
you post
have
that?
it.
Did you post it on Truthzilla? Okay, I thought that I read that.
Yeah, that's
So there you go. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah,
Yep.
did you guys know that the CDC makes $4 billion a year on vaccines? Like they're a.
Do you think it's good that the
they're a vaccine
regulatory
company.
agency makes money off of what they're regulating?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
just,
exactly.
Does that seem like it's not a conflict of interest?
And they make $4 billion promoting vaccines every year. So it's like, what the hell's going on here? I think that was the numbers I heard anyway.
You're right. No, I think
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think it's actually a lot more than that. I think the vaccine industry in America pulls in 50-some billion.
I was just saying that was
a
just
year.
No, the
CDC.
CDC, I thought I read was like
Oh, okay.
4.6 or 4.7.
Yeah, just the CDC
right,
alone,
right in
something
there.
like
Yeah.
that. So what here, Ed, you want to do that one?
What is the vaccine adverse event reporting system?
Service or system. Yeah, sorry.
Are doctors required to report vaccine injuries? So this came along, when the 1986 Childhood Vaccination Act happened. They created the vaccine adverse events reporting system. So essentially, they could keep some data because they weren't able to sue the manufacturers anymore,
Right.
and they weren't able to sue the doctors. So they set up a vaccine court. So it's just a specific court that you took all of your vaccine injured children, anyone who's injured by vaccines would go to this special court. They would keep keep the liability and keep the light off of the people that were actually making these things. And they paid over, I think it's 4.3 billion dollars out in through the vaccine court at this point. And they fight tooth and nail these parents with vaccine injured children. I mean, we've gone over all this
It's
stuff.
better for them if your kids die. If they drag it out till your kid is dead.
Well, it's like
And that happens over and
that's
over
what they
because
want.
it's, I believe it's what, $250,000 is the max
if
amount.
they kill your kid.
If your kid dies from
That's
it.
it.
And if you have to take care of a kid for life, which is a lot of what happens, it can be millions. So
they're incentivized to wait to drag the case out until your kid dies.
Which means you're not getting treatment or help in the meantime.
Yeah.
and with the system though is so it's a voluntary reporting system.
It is. And so less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
Yeah,
are
that's what the
reported.
Harvard medical school or Harvard, I don't know, Harvard whatever looked into it. One of the schools looked into it, and they said it was less than 1% were actually reported. But doctors aren't reporting this thing. People, there's kind of this idea that, and this is amongst physicians and everyone that like vaccine injury isn't real, and when it happens, they won't identify it as that.
That's it. They call it something else completely.
They don't put it in their reports.
That's it.
So you have to, if you're a parent and you have a new child, you make your doctor write shit down. When you say this happened to my child, say put that in the report, because otherwise.
And if your doctor's fighting you on it, that's how you know. The doctors who are poo-pooing
get
it.
second opinions, get third opinions.
You're damn right.
Do what you need to do if you're gonna.
Doctors
if you're
are supposed
a
to
parent
first
of
do
vaccine
no
injured
harm.
children, you have to take charge and do it yourself, because the doctors will not do this shit for you. And that's the parents that have gotten paid out of this $4.3 billion. They have had to do all of what we just said. They've had to document everything and make sure their documents document everything. They've had to get second and third opinions, and then they've had to go. These court cases go 5-10 years.
Yeah, it's
5-10
horrific.
years, they drag it out, and then when those court cases are done, here's what often happens: is they make you sign a non-disclosure.
That's it. So you can't talk about what happened.
You won't talk about what happened, or they'll fight it longer.
Or you cannot be entitled to compensation because you're breaking your contract.
And these parents, when you've been fighting for this long, they'll
shut up.
You have to at some point give up.
That's it.
Because
they're finally. That's
you're,
it.
You're going bankrupt.
That's it.
You're going bankrupt.
Yes.
And you're expent in. All your faculties are spent. You're done.
That's it.
You're done.
And half
It's
the
the
time
most
you've buried a
evil.
child.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
It's the most evil shit.
It is.
You can possibly humanly imagine.
And if you don't believe us, if you don't want to take my word for it, I mean, and don't
Take your own word
don't
for it.
take
Look
my word
into
for it.
these
Look into this.
matters.
But I will say, the Vaccine Conversation, which is one of my favorite podcasts, they've done a lot of interviews with parents of vaccine injured children, and I would say listen to some of those and come to your own conclusions. Listen to Joshua Coleman's story, and he's one of the biggest guys in that fight today. He's the one whenever you see all the people in the Guy Fawkes masks and with the signs at these events and public events, like he does a lot of the organizing behind that, and he's been just. His son was paralyzed from vaccines, and he had to go to many doctors and to find out what the hell happened, because the first doctor never tells you.
Of course.
They don't. They just deny.
Especially
deny,
not the
deny.
doctor's office that did it to your kid.
Exactly.
They're not going to say
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
So, anyways, follow up on some of these stories. To me, it opened my eyes and it changed my whole outlook on this system. And for me, like I've said many times, this is my biggest red pill.
Yeah.
Even though I knew 9/11 was bullshit and I knew what these people were capable of in some ways, I didn't think they would do it to our children, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think, and not just our children, to all of our children,
Yeah.
to every one of our children.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And they're trying to make it so that we must
Yeah.
do it to our children without any
yeah.
Oh, and the
disagreement
new.
or-
Have you guys heard about the new one they're trying to pass right now?
What's that?
Where your child can get vaccinated
Oh, yeah.
without your parents' consent.
They're already
up
doing
to,
that in Washington. They've already done it.
11 years of age.
Yes.
11 years of age.
If you go in and tell your health
the
nurse at
doctors
school-
don't have to tell the parents. So if your kid comes home and like gets injured, they don't tell you, and then the school doesn't tell you, and the doctor doesn't tell you, and you don't know, and they go like something terrible happens, you never fucking know that it even happened.
Well, I don't know. And
It's so diabolical.
I don't know that I should be surprised after we had such a push for allowing children to murder their own babies without their parents' permission.
Oh, yeah.
So if we're allowing children to make a decision outside of their parents' guidance, whether or not they're going to murder another human life, then surely they are going to let them stick themselves with all these kind of poisons. And that's part of disintegrating the nuclear family. That's part of removing parents' ability to parent their children and giving this medical political power to the state.
Yeah.
Why would anybody think that's good?
And
if you're
the-
cool
and
with all the
parents
rest
don't
of
even
it,
get
what,
to know about what they're gonna.
That's it.
They're gonna be telling them to get this shot, and they're gonna be telling them about all this stuff, and then they don't even want the parent to know about it. And the same thing's happening
why
now.
would that be? I
Have
wonder
you-
if
have
it's
you
so
heard-
good. Why would that be?
Have you heard about? I'm sorry, this just gets me going.
No,
on
I know,
something
me
else.
too.
Like this shit just pisses me off to no end. There's nothing worse than this shit. Like if you're the parent, you should be in charge, and fuck you. If you're a teacher, you should stand up against this and not let this shit happen.
Yes.
But what they're doing now with the online learning, they're making all these parents sign waivers that they will not look at what their kids are being taught.
I would never fucking sign it.
Who is signing that?
Don't sign it.
What teachers are
You're
going along
supposed
with
to be
this?
allowed to go into public school with your child and sit in the back of the class and observe what they're teaching your child. And as their sovereign parent, you have the right to decide whether or not what they're teaching your child is acceptable for what you're trying to teach and instill. If they're teaching your children doctrine and politics and sexual ideology and all of this perverse shit,
And you know
you don't
they
stand
are.
for it, damn it, don't stand for it.
That's right.
Don't stand for it. And don't sign shit
That's
that says that
right.
you... Listen, schools were only supposed to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's the way it was, so that we could better ourselves in society. They are not to teach us anything about our values. They are not to teach us about our spirituality. They are not to teach us...
Not their
Well,
job.
it's,
Not
now it
their
is.
job.
That is.
I get so
Oh,
upset.
That is
I get so
100%
mad, too.
it. That is
I get so
100%
mad.
it right there. That's what they're there for now, all the way up through the higher education. Like that's strictly
Look, the
what it
deep
is.
state wants them to be
Yeah.
indoctrinated starting in the schools. That's
And
what
it's
the
so
schools were
obvious.
for. It was never about reading, writing, and arithmetic.
No.
And the problem is we have a whole lot of people who are sold to the idea of they need the schools to be there because they can't be there at home. And that's a whole nother issue.
And guess
But
who this all comes
regardless-
back to?
Yeah.
What? Rockefeller.
Bill Gates.
I was
Bill
gonna say
Gates,
Rockefeller's back.
Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And Bill Gates,
And
the
Bill
Common
Gates.
Core.
Yeah.
It is.
It all comes
yeah.
back. It's that
Teaching them not to
more
question
invested-
things.
He's more invested in the schooling here than he is in the vaccines here.
They are teaching them to not question. They are teaching them to not research. They are teaching them only to do one thing, and that is to repeat.
Yeah.
To memorize a specific script or a specific set of numbers that they have been taught only in the same way. And we all know that that's not how human beings learn, right? They're literally squashing the ability for people and children to develop those parts of the brain that are articulate and artistic and can fire on all these different levels. Well, I mean, at some point, the children's brains, right? They're going to absorb and absorb and absorb, and at some point, once they've been given this foundational thing, the brain doesn't quite absorb and pick up and change, right? Children's much more impressionable than you and I sitting at this table, right?
Yep.
And so, anyways, it's so evil, it's so wicked.
Yep. Crazy.
How many more of these do we have?
We got a few more left.
What time is it?
Okay, it's 7:35.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just power through the last of
Okay,
these.
okay, we're okay.
And you know what, guys? What we're gonna do? I just had a thought. So I'm gonna put all these in the show description.
Yeah.
So you guys can reference all these questions below in the show description. But I'm not gonna put any sources. No sources.
Oh, I like
It's
it.
up to you. You got
Nice.
DuckDuckGo. I figured out you
Find
can do
it,
it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll
No
mean
sources.
more to you when you.
But if you're
when
having
you
trouble,
look it up yourself.
finding
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
then
if you
write
want
to us and
clarification.
we'll help you.
Yeah.
We'll help you.
But no sources. This is
No,
all you.
I like
Okay.
it. Good.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It's the homework episode.
Exactly, the homework episode. Yeah. All right, so we're just going to blow through these real quick. Another good question to ask. What is an adjuvant, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
What states have already mandated COVID vaccines before a COVID vaccine even exists? Or at least their state bar association has recommended that they need to make a COVID
you know
vaccine
offhand?
mandatory. Well, like New York is.
New York, for sure.
The state bar association has recommended to the legislature that they need to pass mandatory COVID vaccines before a COVID vaccine
And if
even
we were to
exists.
look at who was on the state
Yeah.
bar in New
Yeah.
York, I am certain that
I'm sure
if we looked at the individuals behind that,
Yeah.
I mean, Dell always called it the vaccine unicorn.
Vaccine unicorn,
There's
yeah.
there's no vaccine, but we're already passing laws to make
Yeah.
people get it.
Yeah, it's
I
so
mean,
insane. So evil, dude.
If you don't see that the cart is before the horse on this one, like what are we doing here? Come on,
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Wake
So-
up.
what is the thinking behind? And I still wonder, like, for people who are like so pro-vaccine, why aren't they okay with just them getting the vaccine? What's the push for? I think it's because it's
the
the
herd
fear and
immunity.
But
maybe.
here's the deal. Like with that knowledge, though, is that the people who've actually looked into vaccines, and we know this, is that there's only 2 diseases that we actually vaccinate for that actually have anything to do with stopping the spread. So what you're getting a vaccine that all it is doing is lowering your symptoms. And that's exactly what the COVID vaccine is going to do. So it is not going to stop the spread. So if you're going to tell me to get the COVID vaccine, doesn't do anything for you.
Well, it's going to
You could say, and the case could be made that, well, it lowered my symptoms, and so I was able to transfer it without knowing that I was sick. right?
Oh, yeah,
So like that's I'm just saying when I was actually sick as opposed to what the fake sick, whatever they call it,
Asymptomatic sick?
asymptomatic,
Yeah.
you know. But so I mean that's always kind of been the argument I've had with the flu shot. Like the flu shot, they're mandating these health workers to get it, and so the people
I mean, are
in
any
the
of them
hospitals,
shitting their pants? Like, are any of the people on the front lines like, oh, we're gonna come for the kids
I
and the
feel like-
African American
I feel like-
populations first, and the front line are any of them fucking worried?
Yeah.
Like, oh my
I feel
god,
like if you work in that system, most people, and I'm not speaking for all of them because I know
They're
people
all
that-
so
but
indoctrinated.
most of them are. But like
think
there are a lot of doctors.
Because
that
there's
have-
a lot of doctors that speak
There is
out,
a
right?
lot of doctors that have spoken out at this time that have looked into it. But there's also a vast majority that are coming out of that system that have been heavily indoctrinated into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
but one, I just want to make that really clear that unless you have like measles or something, you don't stop the spread, and the coronavirus vaccine works exactly that way. So it does not. If your neighbor doesn't get it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
If you believe how this thing works, that the coronavirus is so scary and whatnot, whether or not your neighbor gets the vaccine does not stop him from spreading it to you.
Well-
It doesn't. It doesn't. That's
Yep.
based on their
That's good.
technology.
That's a
It
good-
doesn't.
That's a really, really good point. Yeah.
So what was it? I didn't actually look that deep into it. I thought I shared it to group, but what was that ingredient they were saying was going to be in the COVID vaccine? That luciferase or
Oh my
whatever it
God.
was.
Luciferase, yeah.
So all throughout since the beginning of the
dead baby
podcast.
cells.
Well, what? Yes, but I'm speaking specifically to this ingredient because what
Yeah.
I've talked about several times throughout the podcast is the deep state's agenda, and we talk about this with the dark energy and
Yeah.
kind of this whole spell thing that they're doing, the repeating things in 3 and all of that. But the idea to disconnect us from the ability to have discernment.
Yeah.
If they can take people who are, vessels who are yet empty because they're not awakened or they don't have, these deeper spiritual ties, and you are injecting them with something that corrupts the spiritual center, now they cannot have
Yeah.
discernment. Now they cannot rise up against their oppressors. Now they cannot think clearly from themselves outside of the terrestrial plane. And the fact that that is an ingredient in this particular vaccine.
And we're seeing that. I mean, this vaccine is one aspect of it. But when you bring that up, I mean, that is the fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
That is the chemicals they're
That's-
spraying in the
yeah,
air.
mhm.
That is the food that they're giving.
Maybe this
to
is
us.
the activators
This is
for all
this
that
is
shit
all
to-
of that stuff. This is the 5G. This is the 4G. The 3G. This is all this stuff is worked in.
Soft kill.
They work together
Yeah, man.
for this.
Soft kill delivery
Yes.
system.
Totally.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Crazy. All
I had
right.
a good point, but I lost it.
I'm sorry.
damn.
No, I started on a different point. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Things-
Well, if you
Oh,
come back,
only a few.
Okay, one thing I just wanted, and James Corbett brought this up in the Dell interview the other day, that I think is so key that I hope that, and this would be a great one to ask your family members, is, okay, so let's just say, for example, that this COVID vaccine works great, and it's a great vaccine, but we,
I hadn't even thought of that.
but
I must have fell out of my chair laughing. And
let's just say
okay, all right, all right, just
for
real hard.
hypothetical.
Okay, all
for
right, all right.
hypothetical,
I'll give
and
it
then
to
it
you.
stops this
the cold.
disease in its tracks. But here's the deal: is we already let them mandate a vaccine. Do you think the government is going to take? Now we have there's okay for the government to mandate us injecting things in us. Do you think they're gonna? It's
If
only
they
gonna
take
be
away
good
our
stuff?
physical sovereignty in this way,
Yeah.
what else will they not
Yeah,
take?
be like,
Well,
oh, okay.
at
Like,
that
we'll
point,
lobotomize people
we've
who aren't
already
thinking
set
the
a
way we want to
precedence.
think.
We already set a precedent
That's
for
it.
them to be able to inject us with what they deem right.
or whatever else, because what we're talking about is we're talking a medical violation of our personal freedoms, and if they can do it in one way, they will use it as exactly as the preemptive strike to do it. And like I say, I totally think. And I've read this in several other people from the past that thought this. Like, I think they're going to lobotomize people. They don't want people thinking for themselves. If they have it in their way, if they knew for sure this wouldn't be an immediate civil uprising, they would have already done it. The only reason why it hasn't been fully implemented, and they're trying as hard as they fucking can, right? These West Coast governors and the few, Democratic governors around the country, and this whole stolen election, this whole fraudulent, tyrannical overtake of the United States. Never in my life did I think it would come to this, and we wouldn't have already been in the streets up in arms. And we're like at the tipping point. Like, people are not. There are And again, and I look at it like this, like it seems like so many people have bought into this lie. But if I look at it in terms of like how many people actually voted for Joe Biden, and we all know that the true numbers are like what you're talking about, how many people like follow him on Twitter versus Trump, right?
Well, no one voted for Joe Biden. People just voted against Trump. I think we can all just agree that.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't remember where I was going with that. But it's just so diabolical. It's so connected to everything, and it's every single moment of every day, my mind is blown anew.
I think that the more we look into all these things, I mean, I think the more we look into the vaccines, the water, the air, the waves, everything we're looking at, there is a definite concerted effort to cloud our minds.
It is.
To take us away from ourselves.
That's it.
Like you said, this is there. I mean, it's been going on forever. They're just advancing that technology. Is essentially how I see it. Right?
And they're experimenting on us.
You know what?
This is an experimentation on humanity through all of the 5G towers, the surveillance, the shit they're putting in our bodies, the stuff they're trying to mandate. They're literally watching us.
Yeah.
Through this lens to see what's going to happen. Like we're in a test tube, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, it's cool. Roll up my sleeve."
Yeah. Yep.
How about no?
Yep.
Maybe
no?
that just as and like maybe we risk the cold.
Yep. We're teaching them how to treat us,
That's
man.
right.
And
That's it.
And they know that we're gonna back down for anything, dude. It's so insane.
Yeah.
All right, let's blaze through these guys. We got.
All right, which one are we
dinner to
at?
cook.
Which one are we at?
We're on
Oh,
28.
Jeez, I forgot about that. You want me to do it? Is it your turn?
Go ahead.
Okay. Has the COVID-19 virus been isolated in a lab?
And I've heard different opinions on that,
I'm gonna read
but
the next one, too.
I think
Look into that Dr. Cowan interview I talked about, because
Let me-
I think virus theory as a whole has been debunked.
Okay.
'Kay.
Does Dr. Fauci have investment ties in the Wuhan lab where the virus originated? Did it originate
Yep.
there?
So just a quick look at Google or DuckDuckGo. Excuse me, God. DuckDuckGo.
I know. What we mean is to search on the internet.
Yeah.
But,
Fauci,
okay.
North Carolina, Wuhan lab. There's some
All right.
stuff.
And I just want to, real quick, before we move on to that, do you remember when that lady came from, the scientist from China came over, and she said, "We have indisputable proof that this virus came from this lab in Wuhan." And it got censored like crazy.
Yeah.
I think it was Tucker Carlson she was on.
Yeah.
It was on like Fox News or something, and it got taken down.
Yeah.
So I always think there's a case there that we kind of gloss over, but I think that there's something really there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next one.
You want to take it, Ed?
Is it true that 100% of the participants in the Moderna COVID vaccine trial were injured by the vaccine after the second dose in the higher dose category? 20% of those being very severe.
Is that true? It's kind of a leading question again, but yeah.
But the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. So we skipped one. Does the NIH, the National Institute of Health, own patents on viruses and vaccines and seek to profit from them? So we kind of talked about that a minute
Huge
ago.
Or the
conflicts of
CDC.
interest.
Or the CDC. Yep. All right. So this is what we were just talking about.
Okay. Name one time in history when a government took away the rights of its citizens and then gave them back. One time.
When?
It's a $100 question. No, I'm saying
just
I
name
want
one
I want
time.
them to
I was
name
like,
one time.
Yeah.
And I always want to, when I hear that question, I always think, so how many terrorists has the TSA caught?
Yeah. Those are the shoe bomber, back in 2004, 3.
Well, so I have a really good idea too. Like I know
7.
that the deep state and the government and the health department, they're all in on this, diabolical agenda. And so they're really, and we talked about this in another episode where they're really trying to come at like people who are struggling for money and hire them at almost $22 an hour locally to be contact tracers. But that's really not a lot of Christmas money. And I really encourage you to go watch Plandemic Indoctrination because there is a $10,000 reward if anything within that documentary can be debunked as not being true.
Yep.
And so I would say that we should maybe just skip the contract tracing and go for the 10 grand because surely it should be so easy to debunk everything in that. Yeah. So
you know what's funny? I got on Facebook. I joined a group called COVID-19 Contact Tracers, and it's awesome. I encourage you guys to come join me in there for Dropping Truth. I shared a bunch of posts, and the admin approved them. It's great. So this post saying if you've ever wondered whether you would have complied during 1930s Germany, now you know. So
they let you put that on.
It got approved in the COVID-19 tracers. Yeah.
And from the podcast, no less.
Yep. And
Okay, if we're going there, I just want to make, if you guys want some real good entertainment too, that will make you shit your pants at the same time, is listen to the World Economic Forum's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Don't listen for long.
Listen to the Sesame
Easy.
Street Grover character telling you about how they're going to indoctrinate your kids.
So funny,
Oh
dude.
my gosh, you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, don't watch Sesame Street
Yeah.
anymore. Don't let your kids watch it.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
simply
All
propaganda.
right. So Ed, tell me what is the flu vaccine's effectiveness?
You know, I've heard it's about 10 to 40%, depending if they guessed the right strains that year.
Oh, so
Okay.
10%. Okay, so what are our chances of this COVID? Okay, this next one. Yeah, do you want to take this one? I think you're the one.
Yeah,
that's
is
talking about
COVID mutating? Does a vaccine made today work on COVID 90 days from now? And so, I mean, this is the same argument with the flu. Is if this is a
like
virus that
forever money for
mutates,
them.
so exactly,
And a huger
exactly.
proportion of the population dead, which works out really good for the eugenicists.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. So I mean, that's just how viruses work. I mean, but they're already saying right now. I mean, I've heard doctors saying. One of the things I've heard doctors saying lately is that, you know, we're seeing these COVID patients, but we're able to treat it better. Like it's lost its I forget the word they use, but like virality or something like that. Like the virus isn't as strong, right?
Right.
So like people aren't dying like it used to be. So they're saying there's more probably because they're testing everybody and their fucking goddamn mother. But
Right.
you know, but still.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely. So speaking of that, I heard this on Dell. This is one of the things that Dell said. Like, and they were talking about the results from the studies of the vaccines, COVID vaccines, and you know, for the overwhelming majority of people who do end up getting COVID, you know, it's a cold. It's like getting a cold, right?
Yeah.
So it says that but the vaccine itself, severe reactions, you know, chills. It said this guy was like literally had chills so bad that he chipped his teeth from the effects of the vaccine, like flu-like symptoms. So basically what it does is it takes away mild cold symptoms and replaces them with severe flu-like symptoms. So.
Well, and I remember when we talked
your
about
poor
this
body's
one.
shutting down, trying to fight off the shit you just put in it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about when the Moderna trials were happening. There was the one guy that, he like threw up and then he like passed out in his bathroom or something and had to go in and he was the one defending but I still think it's a good
I
good
remember
idea.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm like, how indoctrinated do you have to be? And
Here's
like,
the thing, I'm
like
just
you're
like, we just
passing
gotta
out
let
and
you go.
bumping your head.
We're going to have to cut you
Come
loose.
on.
You're too far gone, buddy.
Yeah, totally.
And the truth is, a lot of people are too far gone, guys.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
true.
really
Yep.
unfortunate, but it's also not our, you know, what did I posted something on Facebook and it said that we're here to awaken the sheep. We were here to awaken the sleeping lions.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
it. I love
That's
that.
true.
I
So
love that.
sleeping lions, guys.
A
That's
lot of
what
you may
this
not
is
even
for.
realize you have it within you. You know, like a year ago, I didn't even know. Who would have thought? Who would
Yeah,
have thought? You
that's
know,
it.
you know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like,
Totally.
God, you know. Now I feel like I'm on the right side of history, and I love being in this fight to the degree that we are. You know, and I'm looking for ways to take on more. Absolutely. So,
I'll take this one. Or unless you were
Go
going
ahead,
to.
no.
Okay. What is CO2?
the CO2. that
Okay, I
is,
was like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What is the CO2 level in parts per million with a cloth mask?
Yeah, so like, if you stick a little tube up there to read the amount of CO2 and oxygen underneath the mask.
And then compare it to the maximum allowed of CO2 from OSHA.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the effects of oxygen deprivation and CO2 poisoning over time?
Yeah, so I think what was this, the results like 7, 8, 9 times the OSHA maximum CO2 with a cloth mask or something.
And that's
I
just
don't remember
breathing
the
regular because I
numbers,
took.
but-
it was like extraordinary. It was like 7.
Because if kids are like out somewhere, like I took my
Yeah.
kids to a bouncy house place here locally, right?
Yeah.
The one thing I knew that they were shutting us down, they were getting ready to shut us down. And I was like, all right, this probably might be the last time literally my kids ever go into public and have any of this.
Yeah.
So I took them
Yeah.
to this bouncy place. And they're just sweat pouring all the little kids in there. And my kids like kept coming over, like trying to hold them out. Like, Mom, I can't breathe. I can't get enough air. They're exerting themselves, jumping on trampolines, bouncing, you know, and it was like just totally like due to governor's mandate, you know, and for everyone's safety. I'm like, for their fucking safety, for their safety.
Well, and so Dell had 2 reps from OSHA come on his
exactly.
show,
Yeah, that's what I was
and they looked at this,
yeah.
and I've heard
What
it
did
said,
they say?
I've heard it. Well, of course they said, but basically, if
Is Dell the one
these
that did his kid? He checked his kid?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
But in these breathing conditions, OSHA would shut your business down.
They would.
They would for sure shut your business down if for these levels of CO2 and this lack of oxygen, and just use your own brain though. Beyond that, like we don't have to put a sensor in there to know. Have you put on a mask on? You can tell.
Well, there's
You
some
can
people who are wearing
instantly
2
tell.
masks. They're wearing the medical mask
Oh, yeah.
underneath, and they're wearing the
Yeah.
really thick fabric with the
Yeah.
bar over the top, and you can see like there's a store I go to in town regularly, and the girl behind the counter I already know that she has problems. She has asthma
Yeah, okay.
actually, and she like has to wear it while she's at work, and she just gets all red like her eyes. Like you can tell she's not getting enough friggin' air.
Yeah.
So so evil,
So,
dude. And what do you
anyway.
think? Do you think that has anything to do with lowering your immune system, lack of oxygen?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
Well,
I
also
think
not
it all
being-
works. I think it all works
Hypoxia.
together.
Bacterial pneumonia.
and not being exposed to normal bacteria and normal virus and normal, you know what I mean? Like this whole like them wiping the carts down, wiping the counters down. That's
Yeah.
so terrible for our
I
immune
literally,
systems.
I literally like pick, I eat food off the floor. Like if I see food, I'm like, oh cool. I'm trying to train my immune system, trying to keep it. Like if I see stuff on the floor, dude, I'll freaking like I won't. You know, it's great. I love it. You know?
30-minute rule.
30-minute rule. Yeah, if I drop something on the floor, I'll let it sit there for a minute and soak up all the germs, and then pick it up and eat it.
I've
So
been
I'm like,
sharing my food
know,
off my
good.
fork with my 2 perfect dogs.
Yeah, there you go.
I knew that you wouldn't
I let
judge
your
me
dog
if I
lick me
told
all
you
the
that.
time, so you're good.
I know.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your body exhales things for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? These things
That's
are supposed
it.
to come out
It
of
poops
you
for a reason, right?
Yeah,
Right.
totally. And I mean, you just made me think of something like Tim said last week, though, too, is like people with pets have better gut flora because the pets are bringing in all this. Like our immune
That's it.
systems need this. Our
That's
immune
right.
systems need this, man.
That's
and
it.
that's just the common sense of the whole thing. It's just, I mean, come on.
There is
Yeah.
no common sense.
There's no-
We don't need a scientist to tell us that a fucking mask is bad for you. Oh, and there was this other point I was thinking.
Yeah.
One of the No Agenda guys was I forget what's the other guy's name?
John C. Dvorak.
John C. Dvorak. He was making a point that that if you look at the maps of these states that have mandated the masks, it looks like masks are spreading fucking COVID.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. That's exactly
Masks
it.
are spreading COVID.
Yeah, all the states that have
I think-
mask mandates are the ones with like the highest cases, highest fatality rate.
I think when we look back at this thing, like the masks are going to be so stupid. We're going to be like, what the hell was anyone fucking thinking?
Because without the masks, they can't control us.
Yeah.
They have to
That's
use the mask.
That's a good point.
The mask is the only way this
Yep.
pandemic rolls
the
out.
mask is the
Because if
visual
they let-
representation of the virus. You would not
That's it.
know that there's a virus without fucking everyone with a mask on
That's
around.
That's
you.
it.
That's
And
it.
there would
That's
not
it.
be a divide leading into
Yep.
this civil war that I am 99.9% certain without listen, and even if Jesus comes down on the clouds,
Which he might. Don't rule out Operation Bluebeam.
every day I'm
Project
looking, I'm
Bluebeam.
like, Jesus, come
Yeah, but
please.
it's-
But
you know,
It won't be the real
If that
Jesus.
does happen, it's just Project Bluebeam, and it's the government. It's the government.
Watch out.
Unless a large portion of people are raptured away, and then it's. But they'll
It's
still
the
say that.
government.
They're
It's
still going to say
Space
that.
Force. Space Force.
So, anyways, all right. I want to do the last one.
Okay, this is
Can
the
I
last
have
one.
it?
I'm going to say yes, of course you can. I was going to definitely let you have it. So
Okay,
here it is.
you know I like to say
Yes.
this part.
All
All
right,
right.
everybody, pay attention.
The number one cause of a natural death in the last 100 years has been the governments of the world mass executing their own citizens. So, do you guys still think this has anything to do with a virus?
Say it, Scott. You got to repeat
You
it.
still, after all this, think that has anything to do with protecting you from a virus? You need to wake up! Wake up! Now! Wake up! Oh my God!
Woo! Pew pew pew.
Oh,
Pew,
wow.
pew, pew, pew. Happy Thanksgiving.
How do we make a t-shirt that says pew pew in that tone of voice? That's what we're all going to brainstorm, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyways.
guys. Wow. That's
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, this has been super eye-opening and an incredible celebration.
Yeah.
Happy
Thank
6
you,
months,
Megan.
guys.
Thank you so much.
And-
Thank you guys, man.
Yeah.
This has
For
been
hanging with us for 6 months, and those of you who joined us along the
Seriously.
journey, so thankful
Yeah,
for
shout
all
outs
the
to
support.
Pedro, shout outs to Craig, shout outs to Nemo,
and
shout outs
Pedro,
to
man. Thank you for that email. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
amazing, and
I
it's
haven't
such
seen
good
it yet. I need to-
information.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Dude,
Yeah.
I just haven't
Such
seen
good
it.
information,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, shout outs to Nemo, shout outs to Adam, shout
Oh,
outs to
and
Dean.
who's our logo guy?
oh, yes.
Oh, Mito. Okay, Sly Guy.
4K on Instagram did our logo that we've
Yeah,
been using a lot.
Like
Yeah,
right when we
respect.
first got started, and
yeah.
you
So
are a
appreciate it.
firecracker.
Yeah, yeah.
You literally like help
Yeah.
us to set like the visual tone for how we wanted to grow,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
that which you did for us early on. We
Yeah.
still love
Yeah,
that.
all you guys that you know we're gonna get everybody in. We've been getting a lot of interview requests lately, like Idiocalypse, like Skeptical Chicken on Instagram, dude. If you want some fire memes, like
Yeah.
go follow them.
Heck yeah.
Conspiratorial conspiring. We're gonna get with you guys.
Yeah.
You know, we've been getting a lot of interview requests, and we're gonna get to everybody, we promise. But you know, it's just kind of like it's the holidays. We're a little backed up. We got some big guests coming on. Oh my god.
Oh my God!
I sent Scott
Blow
a
your mind.
message, and I was like,
Blow your mind.
I won't say who I said.
Yeah.
Okay, I say you're like, don't
no,
fucking
it's all right,
say.
it's all
No,
right,
no, I can tell.
Right.
It's all right. So, but I sent Scott a message now. And so it's someone we've all really talked about, like really wanting to to have and to
Yeah,
interview
yeah.
for like since we started. Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
were talked about
I was like, maybe in a few years, maybe. Like,
And so then, like, just this last week or so, I just, like, in the middle of the day, I was like, all right, I'm not too nervous to ask. Because I'm always the one that's like,
Sure,
I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for this guest. So I literally, like, wrote, I was like, can you please invite, what did I say? Can you please book this
yeah,
person?
like-
I said, because I knew it would be
Yeah,
yes. I
yeah,
knew
I
that was
Yeah.
the
Well, of
intention.
course, well, of course.
So I said, can you please book this guest? And
Such
then,
a-
like, 2 hours later, I got, guess who we've got booked? So
Yeah, but then we got someone
The
else.
hint
saying-
is we reference them all the time.
yeah. But then the other one too is one of our previous guests. Like, hey, you guys want to have so and so on? I'm like, that person has like, okay. hold
wait,
on.
do I know who it is?
Okay, yeah. Anyway, we'll
Yeah,
talk.
We'll talk about it.
that's
You guys-
that's.
Anyways,
You
all right.
guys,
Well,
yeah,
so
okay, whatever.
everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Thank
Happy
you so much for
Thanksgiving.
sitting in with us.
Fuck
Please
the
remember
government.
to like us. Hit that. We want thumbs up. Okay.
Do they have thumbs up on BitChute? I don't know. Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
know.
Okay.
Do they?
Yeah. Fuck,
and
we're fucking
share
over YouTube.
our content.
Yeah, I'm over
Please
YouTube, dude.
subscribe,
Yeah.
guys. Please subscribe. And visit us at truthzilla.org. We have a lot of amazing content there. Please find us. You guys can support us there, and we surely appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we got. I've been uploading our favorite documentaries. I think the newest ones were "Conspiracy of Silence," the old Franklin scandal documentary. The Yuri Bizmanov and G. Edward Griffin interview. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, so I'm
for sure.
working on it. You know,
Did we get up the health ones like?
I got
foodie-
Dominion. I haven't.
Foodie.
I need to get that one.
So there's a few other ones too
Yeah,
that'll be
but
amazing,
they're
but
coming.
we're building
They're
it.
coming.
We're building
They're
it. So
coming.
stay with us.
But
and,
yes,
I'm gonna have
Wait
to
a-
catch up on her.
There is a way to support
we
the
need
show
to do
there.
some more truth.
I know.
And
Yeah.
if you feel compelled and moved to support us, you can do that through truthzilla.org.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you again, everybody. I am Megan, sitting here with my wonderful friends, Scott and Ed. Happy Thanksgiving. We wish all of you intellectual prosperity. Good night.
Pew, 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 pew.
Megan, give us a couple views.
Pew, pew.